hear you.
Oh!
Hello?
Hello. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morrow.
Thank you to those who woke up this early to join us, right?
Play some Dungeons and Sword Dragons.
Yes.
David, what are we doing today, my boy?
Today, we are going to play our first session of our Heroes of Histaeria Unearthed Inheritance duo campaign. It's a Dungeons and Dragons game in a homebrew post-apocalyptic world, and you're going to be seeing a lot of homebrew mechanics if you're hoping to just get like your standard D&D.
Love that.
We're delivering something very, very unique. We have two fantastic players with us this morning. Let's see. No introduction really needed, but Commune.
Oh shit, me. No. Hi everybody, my name is Alec. My pronouns are he, him. You can find me all places on the internet at CommuneDM. I am obviously a player here in our bi-weekly Sunday morning campaign, Heroes of Histaeria Unearthed Inheritance, and I'm also the archivist of Known Realms Till Lesh, which will be premiering next Sunday night at 6 p.m. EST. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So thank you. You can find me all places at CommuneDM. Hello. Pleasure to see you. But yeet this basketball the button. Other way. Fuck.
I catch it. What way do I catch it from? That way.
That way, yep.
Hello, I'm Button. I am Bluebluebutton on all the social medias. I'm very excited to play in this campaign with the very man who introduced me to D&D almost a fucking decade ago. My pronouns are they, them, and you can catch me playing in Known Realms Till Lesh a week from today. And I'm here every other week, which I think maybe goes without saying, but I said it.
You're only here for this week, and then you're gone.
Yeah, this becomes a single.
Oh no, nightmare! Nobody wants to see that much of me.
It's just your zero session over and over again.
Yeah. Well, and we throw it to you, David. Who are you, and what are you doing? Where can people find you?
Yes. My name is David. I go by ZenOkami in various places on the internet. You guys can find me here every other week DMing Unearthed Inheritance. You can also catch some of the other stuff we do in the same universe of Heroes of Histaeria on the Sandsea Saga over on the Delta Cryptid YouTube channel. These campaigns are happening simultaneously, so if you want to see some cool interactions, definitely check it out. And I hear there's an Instagram, right? But I don't know. So
I think it's in the works.
Heroes of Histaeria.
Yeah.
So yes, you can check it out there too. We'll post things like maps, episode stuff, and yeah, that's where you can probably find me.
Awesome. Before we get into some of that D&D goodness, guys, I have a couple announcements. I've already posted. Socials are the best way to stay in contact with us and see what we're doing and when we're doing it. It has been a several-month dry spell for any sort of D&D content, but that is over as of right now, because we are here launching Unearthed Inheritance, and then next Sunday, we launch Session 1 of Known Realms Till Lesh, the follow-up, spiritual successor, predecessor, different universe, who fucking knows, but we're playing in Aosha. It is 400 years before the time of Int Save. So we have an incredible cast. Obviously, we have Bluebluebutton, we have the Governor, we have Luzelia Art, Aegon Thetic, and Zen Meta, and I will be your archivist running you through the world of Aosha. Once again, thank you for having me. So that'll... No cursing immediately. Got it. Guys, obviously you are here for Unearthed. I hate it here. Unearthed Inheritance, which there's a little blurb about it. Our bi-weekly duo 5e campaign watches Button and Alec journey through the post-apocalyptic world of Histaeria with the incredible ZenOkami at the head of the table. And you can find the sister campaign, Sandsea Saga, at the link below. This campaign would not exist without the folks over at Delta Cryptid, the incredible party there. Please go show them love. They've got 10 episodes out right now, and they're all incredible. Go check it out. It's a lot of fun. And I think that is it for my announcements. I'll post the party command once the party is introduced. But until then, David, I yeet the ball. Back to you.
Ow.
Sorry. Fuck.
Got it. Sorry.
I swore.
I wasn't paying attention.
Dang it.
I was just entranced at your announcements. So, guys, should we do the thing?
Let's do the
Let's
thing.
do the thing.
Let's do the thing.
I would like to do the thing.
All right. My friends, this isn't a story of heroes saving the world. Nowadays, those tales of heroes saving the world from villains are just legends. Myths told around the small campfires built by the sparse remnants of humanity. The world has already been destroyed. In this world, the weave of magic is broken and volatile. The remnants of life left within the world withers away, and many of those claim that the voices of the gods have grown silent and mute. But to those that do hear them, sometimes they whisper madness. This all started on the night of the new year, the start of a new millennium. The night sky was torn by streaks of red as objects fell from the heavens. A deadly alien invasion by creatures now referred to as the Scum had begun. And all the while, high above the terror and destruction wrought by these aberrations, loomed the red moon, a new celestial object in the skies of Histaeria, the source of the bombardment. Those who remain now refer to this sinister body as the Monarch. The arrival of the Scum, though, was just the beginning. One fateful day, a few months after the invasion had begun, the Monarch descended from the heavens and siphoned the world's oceans, rendering the world of Canaan a desiccated husk adrift in the astral sea. The world was broken on that day, and it stopped turning. Day and night are no longer labels of time, but rather hemispheres. So again, these are not stories about heroes who save the world. These are the stories about the heroes who rise up after the fall. These are the stories of the heroes who rebuild the world. And we are going to start aboard a ship. As Finn, please describe yourself as you are standing at the bow of a ship on the sea.
Fucking muted. God damn it. So, you guys would see a tall Goliath man, deep stone gray skin, long black hair that is tied messily up in a half up, half down bun, sort of weary-eyed, pupilless, eyeless, just these pure white eyes. This patchwork armor made up of leathers and some chain, some plated detailing, right arm exposed, showing these ash-like runic tattoos. Stands with a dinged and scraped wooden shield at his back and a equally as destroyed longsword at his side. But he sort of stands fairly stoic, I think, taking in the events of the
Yeah. And as you stand there kind of taking it all in, you feel the wind shift. You hear, you see one of your companions, a gray-furred Herongon, very lithe and athletic, kind of running across the deck, confused. You see a broad blue dragonborn in a captain's coat with gold epaulets standing at the helm, and he's shouting orders, but you can see them shouting, you can hear, but it's like the words aren't coming through. It's just kind of a dull ring. And as you kind of look around, you can see the water kind of starting to change, white caps forming.
What's going on, everyone?
As you start to wander around the ship asking these questions, you can feel the ship kind of rocking beneath you, pulling aside. As you look up, you can see the swell now receding away from the shore. The ship's starting to turn. A group of just these bright twinkling lights shed from the mast and start circling the deck. As you see the fairies who, crew this ship begin to work and get it underway. Pen, the Heron-Gone companion, the gray-furred Heron-Gone companion, runs up to you, grabs you by the arm, and starts kind of shaking you. Voices hollowed, like trying to stir you to some sort of action, and points towards some of the rigging.
He just moves. I don't think he says anything. I think he just moves straight toward the rigging. Question, does he have the knowledge of how this plays out?
He does.
I think he moves fast as shit. Just, if there's any hope in his mind to change this outcome, he does it differently.
Okay. Yeah. So you move towards the rigging. You start getting to work on it. Can I get a sleight of hand check as you're trying to handle the ropes as it's now starting to kind of rain? It's starting to drizzle. The wind is picking up, and the hempen rope is starting to get quite slick in your hands as you're trying to handle it.
Sleight of hand check?
Yeah.
Okay. I was a bad boy and I didn't open up my character sheet. Give me a second.
That's okay. Hey, man. We're all excited.
Okay.
First roll of the game, I think.
Oh, I have advantage on sleight of hand.
Would you look at that?
18.
Nice. With an 18, that's very good. Yeah, you're able to kind of get a good wrap around your fist, right? And your giant Goliath fist just kind of drags it down, pulls it around a bollard, and starts kind of tying it off. Yeah, you can see that the wind is now caught in the sail properly as the boat kind of heaves to the starboard side, making its way as fast as it can back towards shore, back the direction you came from. You can see as things are going, the captain kind of continues to shout orders. The ferries are kind of flying around, handling pieces of stuff. The gray Heron-Gone is also just kind of bounding from, sheet to sheet, just tying things off, working lines, battening down hatches. And you are equally busy, just kind of, following orders as best you can, trying to make whatever is about to happen differently. And sure enough, though, as you are now pelting towards shore, you can feel the waves kind of lapping backwards as they're being siphoned up. You look back and you can see the swell, the hump of the gray seas, the black seas picking up behind you. You see the captain starting to panic earnestly now as the ship is kind of surging forward, but with the water pulling back, he is struggling to keep this thing right. I need you to make an athletics check as he points to one of the sheets to get you to kind of pull that sail in, see if you can catch just a little bit more wind, maybe enough to kind of overcome the swell.
Athletics check. Natural 1. +6 for a 7.
Unfortunate, my friend. Unfortunate.
You hate to see it.
Second roll of the game. But with a natural 1, you run forward. You try to grab that sheet and you just kind of pull it in. You can feel the knot where it's kind of looped in on the sail begins to kind of pull, and you can hear this tearing, right? And it makes your blood just stop. It just kind of pulls free. The sail furls outward, unable to catch anyone. Now the ship's kind of starting to reel a little bit. The captain kind of stomps on the ground, calls out with a large roar that almost just kind of echoes through the blur of this memory. And you can see the pixies kind of surge downwards. The lights kind of flood downwards, illuminating the bottom of the ship, illuminating the hull along the water as it's kind of surging past, and it pulls up as the ship begins to fly. And the ship is now kind of floating upwards. You can see the cliff face ahead of you. You can see it looming. And you hear, echoing across the sky, as the wave is now closing in behind you, a wall of stone kind of erupting from the ground, going upwards as you guys are going straight towards it. You hear a voice.
Simplistic sentient creatures of this lonely world, this is the end of your reign of entropy.
And as the ship kind of starts to pick up, the water kind of starts to catch up, and you can feel it kind of picking up the back of the ship. The deck kind of starts to slide underneath you. Waves kind of crash down. The deck is getting very slippery. I need you to roll a dexterity saving throw to hold your footing as water washes across the deck.
Dexterity saving throw?
Yes, please.
Dexterity saving throw is a 12. 10 plus 2.
With a 12, you're able to hold your footing because the ship isn't like totally tilted. It's going to be hard to move around, so it's going to be like difficult terrain, let's say. But I want to throw it back to you for a bit here. As this is all going on, what are you trying to do to make this memory different, knowing how this is about to play out for you?
I think that Finn is just going to... He's going to slam, not even with his weaponry, he's just going to slam his fist into his right arm and activate his Giant's Might.
Okay.
And get big. And just try to, in this frantic fear, grab everyone and just hold them close to him.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. You kind of start, you activate your Giant's Might, right? You become large, right? Any particular flavor you'd like to add to this as your runes activate?
I think the different runes on his arm reflect the color of the people he's trying to save. So there are these bright fluorescent blue runes, these deep gray, the light of the fairies, this sort of bright yellow, as he just sort of, that envelops him for a moment, almost in a Magical Girl-esque transformation, as he just runs forward and tries to like wrap around and just shield them essentially from whatever the fuck is gonna happen. I think in his mind he knows it's futile, but
yeah,
he moves forward all the same.
Okay, so with the 12, it's tricky to move around the deck.
Yeah.
I'll say you can make it to one person.
He goes for the captain that he knows he's going to lose.
Okay. You march across the deck, making your way towards the stern of the ship, towards the wheel, as it is kind of starting to pick up. You get about halfway there, my friend, going from the bow towards the stern at your half movement speed. As the ship kind of continues to kind of pick up, you can see the wave kind of coming in from behind, right? It kind of picks the back of the ship up now and kind of inverts it almost, right? As the stern is now being pulled upwards into the swell, the floor becomes the wall, essentially.
Yeah.
As things just go completely vertical, as everybody kind of starts falling forward. You hear the voice one more time.
The legacy of organic life will always be one of death and destruction, a perpetual cycle of competition and subsequent eradication. Our arrival has always marked the end of the struggle. You will extinguish while we will adapt and advance.
And as the ship is pushed forward, Finn, I'm going to give you another action here. I need a strength saving throw as you are hanging on to the mast of this ship now with both hands.
Okay, that's a lot better. Strength.
I think it's an advantage with Giant's Might.
Oh shit. Yes.
Yeah, it's an advantage.
Okay, the first roll was better. 17 plus 6, 23.
23. With your strength saving throw being that significantly high above what I was hoping for as a DC. You're like gripped onto the mast on one arm. You're able to kind of like hang on. So you're kind of like gripped against the wall,
Yeah.
right, of the ship as it's kind of going upwards. And you see as Penn loses their footing on some of the sheets, falls forward, and as they are kind of falling by, you're able to kind of grab the jerkin, the leather tunic jerkin, and they kind of, right?
No, you got a few young ones to think about. Come on.
Yep, and you kind of pull forward, you see just this tattoo, a familiar tattoo to you on their right shoulder.
Yeah.
As they are kind of now, you kind of hoist them up onto the mast. They're kind of like standing now on the mast as it's kind of like pulling backwards, and the ship is kind of inverted now. The water pushes forward, and in the chaos of it all, you see Shadin slip on the wheel, hit the railing, hit the banister, having already caught Penn, unfortunately. Kind of slides past you in the air, and you can see there's just a moment where he kind of reaches out for you.
He, as desperately as possible. Come on, we gotta make it right for her, right? Come on. There's a little, please don't do it.
He slides along the bottom. Your hands kind of pass each other.
I'm sorry.
He kind of slides forward and over, hits a railing, and falls over the bow of the ship. The ship is pushed forward, now hurtling towards this column of earth that is rising out of the ocean. And you can see buildings, you can see trees, and you recognize sections of the Irenwud, the village that you had just left, now being lifted. And the fairies, the pixies, manage to just kind of pull the top of the ship up as it's about to kind of slide forward and crash into this, maybe just skimming the top. You see you're hurtling towards these trees, and as you look towards the bow, you see a teenage dwarven girl. You see her staring back at you. Hollow eyes. Her skin is pale, her cheeks are sunken. As you recognize your traveling companion. And as you look her in the eyes, she opens her mouth and she says,
What has seemed a pointless and unending cycle of consumption and conquest was in truth only the preamble to our arrival. Primitive life forms rejoice. Your purpose is now fulfilled. We are your new monarch.
As the ship is about to crash in, you wake up. Your heart is beating fast. You feel sweat. You feel your sheets beneath you sodden. And as you look around the room that you're in, it is small. It is cramped. You are basically on a cot on the floor in a subterranean space, and you can see multiple beds and other folks are also inhabiting this space as real estate is in short supply and safety is where it will be. And you kind of look around, you can see there are some small families. You see a lot of folks just kind of wandering around, a lot of eyes looking at you as you are coming to wakefulness in this space.
Morning, everyone. I think knowing what has happened, I think that no matter what ails him in his sleep, he wakes and tries to be that same how can I help in the morning to the people that he has helped in the past.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, it's a lot of refugees, other refugees, townsfolk. As you kind of, look around the crowd, kind of putting on that air of assurance that maybe you are trying to project here. You will tell me if this is a persuasion, performance, or deception.
It's a deception. That I'm going to impose disadvantage on myself for.
Sure thing. Appreciate it.
Because I don't know if
I'm going to give you an inspiration for your trouble.
I don't know if he believes that. Deception. Is a 10.
It's average.
Yep.
A lot of people are, after you've kind of like woken up, they kind of go back to their own business. A few who are maybe a bit more insightful, who maybe have, seen you a little bit longer, maybe shared this same room with you before, as it's not always the same people in these spaces. You grab a bed when you can. Those people linger a little bit as they kind of watch and they kind of nod. Looking at them, maybe some of them are wanting to believe your self-assuredness, maybe some of them are humoring you. It's hard to say. But you make your way out, you get ready, you make your way out of this little communal room. Again, you are underground as you now come into kind of a cramped hallway, especially cramped for a Goliath. You are able to you see there are roots, ironwood roots from the trees above that kind of make and frame the hall. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's kind of worked, so it's kind of supporting it. but you're able to, kneeling your head, kind of craning your neck, you're able to kind of make your way through this space. It is coming up for your shift for like watch, right?
Yeah.
You've been helping out. And, good lookouts and guards are in short supply, right? So as you are kind of making your way out, getting ready for your shift, it is like midday. So you, again, sleep when you can. So you didn't wake up as the sun rises. In fact, since the last wave, since the breaking, what it's come to be called in the Ironwood, you know that time has kind of stopped. Day and night are no longer a thing, and the sky is just a perpetual twilight. So, even though it's noon, it certainly doesn't feel like it. It's still hard to get used to. It's been a few weeks, though. It's been a few weeks since that event, I should mention.
Okay.
You're kind of making your way. So, this isn't like a new occurrence. Like, this is...
That answers my question of if I would have taken a rest. Because I was boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and you still get your long rest. It's
appreciate it.
Fraught with nightmares and stuff, but it is a long rest. The rest assured. Literally, rest assured.
I'm giving David an inspiration point. That was a good pun.
Oh, thank you. I won't use it against you.
I have no power to do that here.
I know, but I like to think you do. You do in my heart. So as you are making your way, out, you kind of like make your way upwards, and you come out of the cave opening, and you look out over the Ironwood as you are stepping out of this cave, this kind of stone, this hollowed out stone that kind of would have led underground. You see there is a large ironwood tree behind you. There are no leaves on it. In fact, roll a survival check. Or nature, if you happen to be proficient in.
I think I'm better at survival.
I believe you are.
I am. There's a 16.
16. Yeah. Okay. You know this tree is dying. Like,
yeah,
it's on its way out. And as you kind of like stand up and look out over the town of the Ironwood, the town that you have been protecting these last several weeks, you see before you a town that is coming back from the brink, coming back from having been destroyed, and is now on who knows how many rebuilds. As you look out over, you can see that it is not simply a town laid out before you. In fact, it is a level, tiered town. When the town was pushed upwards out of the earth above the wave, the levels came out uneven, right? And it kind of came out more in these large columns of earth. In fact, it would probably be easier to move you to the map, so that will just help. And you can look out from where you're standing.
Oh, shit.
Hundreds of feet above the floor. You see the temple that you helped rebuild. You see the walkways, the wooden walkways, ironwood walkways that the ironwood tree singers have worked from whatever they could salvage. You see beneath, as you kind of like make your way out, a stone memorial for folks that have passed. And you see the town is thriving still to some extent, and in no small part owing to you. You make your way down, taking the lift. You're not alone. There are other folks around. People are kind of like nodding at you. You, my friend, have you been practicing a certain art form in town in the wake of everything? Like if approached?
Yeah.
Okay. You have an appointment then. You have an appointment. As you're about to head on to watch, the reason you're up so early, your watch is actually in the evening, but the reason you're up so early is actually there is an acquaintance of yours in the town, possibly an ally, possibly a friend, if you would consider him such. A Minotaur, one of the Herkalan tree singers. A friend by the name of Jakar. And Jakar has actually commissioned you to give him a to ply your craft this evening.
Okay.
At some, you know, if you could.
I would say he's a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
gets his little spectacles, his little kit, kind of taps his lantern. I'm gonna need you to hold the light up for me, friend. And then he makes his way towards his appointment.
okay. We'll say you guys actually agreed to meet in the temple.
Okay.
Temple of Koromane, as you kind of make your way down the lift. Again, you know, you are a familiar, welcome face in town, right? People kind of nod towards you. People, you know, some folks actually come up and offer you little bits of food. You know, what they can spare. You know, a little old elderly halfling kind of comes up and goes, "Ah, Mr. Reese, off to watch, are we?"
Off to watch. I have a little bit of an appointment myself, but yes, headed that way.
Here, why don't you take this with you? Something to tide you over, give you a little bit of energy for your long night.
You know me. You know I have to ask this follow-up question. Have you and yours eaten yourself?
Oh, don't worry, we'll be fine.
Have you eaten yourself? That's incredible how that didn't answer my question.
Well, rest assured, I keep mine well fed.
Okay.
Thank you. This is for you, dear.
Takes it, sort of taps the top of their hand. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
If you need any work done, you know I'm around.
Thank you, darling. I'll find you.
Not hard. Sort of does this.
as you are towering over everybody. You are actually the only Goliath in town.
Yeah.
People don't exactly, not super far ranging. But so you are something of a novelty.
Yeah.
Making your way over to the temple, though, you pass the memorial. You can see that there are several figures carved out of stone, flowers displayed, offerings, you know, little bits of treasures laid out as, you know, to commemorate those who've passed. Or
he pays a respect as he passes and just sort of nods and says a quick word and makes his way.
Okay. Roll a perception check.
No. Okay.
I refuse.
This is ass.
I refuse to see.
I refuse to see.
I don't look.
It's incredible. I'm not a wisdom character. Perception 9.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, it's busy. It's always busy.
Yeah.
Right. There's always folks there, whispering, praying, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Murmuring to themselves. You make your way into the temple. There you find Jakar, Honor Hunter, a large minotaur, kind of graying at the snout, very, you know, quite muscular, right? As most minotaurs tend to be. And he's kind of sitting there talking to a priest, not a priest, more of a monk,
Okay.
a dragonborn monk who, you know, they briefly exchange. And as you kind of come in, they kind of wave at you. The monk kind of, you know, gives the salutations and kind of goes on for the day. And Jakar goes, thank you for coming, Finn.
Of course, happy to. I know we had an appointment.
Well, something to it, you know. It's one thing to have you do this for me, but to be honest, sometimes I just like the pleasure of your company. Jakar has definitely been a reoccurring client since everything. Finn, one interesting thing is that you've actually been getting to ply your craft quite a bit, right? A lot of folks are coming to you for the different sorts of, you know, a lot of things like remember, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, names, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
One morbid practice among the Ironborn Rangers, what's left of them, is actually have their own names marked on them, so that if they are found, they could be identified.
Mm-hmm.
But you're kind of like a barbershop. You're kind of like a modern day barbershop. People talk to you during these moments. You know, they kind of get to know you as they kind of sit down and under your pen as you get to work.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And Jakar has been coming a lot. Jakar has very much a common customer. He kind of lays down. Well, not lays down. He kind of sits in front of you, kind of leans an arm towards you, and he says, "Whatever you'd like, dealer's choice."
Whatever I'd like. It's going to be living on you forever, my friend.
Well, you're a wise man, Fenris. You want to leave a little bit on there for me? I'm sure I won't be none the worse of it.
Sure.
For it.
Sure. He, Finn will put on his little spectacles, kind of push him up the bridge of his nose. He'll take the lantern off of his hip and just put it above. He's like, right, you stay right there. Let's go, as this ghostly light keeps it hanging. This sort of deep blue sort of emanating around the space. Whatever I like.
Whatever you'd like.
He takes his tattoo kit and begins to follow the line of muscle on this hulking individual. As in Giant, he tattoos Fortitude, Heart, Soul, Irenwood's Best underneath it. Just sort of running the curvature of the muscle line. With a few nice little starred details.
Awesome. Roll a... feel like sleight of hand.
Sleight of
You have
hand?
advantage on those.
I do, yeah.
Do you have proficiency with tattooers?
I do.
Yeah, because we
Yeah.
did, so go ahead, add your proficiency.
Thank you, Button. You're the best. Oh, Jesus. 20 on that.
That's all right. That's excellent. So you get to work. It's kind of coming together. And Jakar, as you kind of get to work, it's you're following the curvatures perfectly. The lines are clean, right? The form, you're quite pleased with the outcome. And Jakar, in the meantime, kind of opens up to you about, just stuff going on with him. And talks to you about Penn and how after you guys came back and learned about the Smith Fluffle, how they've gone into that deep depression and they're visiting the stump like daily, and he's worried it's getting pretty destructive. He's concerned for her.
I'll go look for them. See if I can have a bit of a conversation with a friend.
That would be most appreciated. I've tried, but sometimes you're just too close.
Pen's a hard one to crack, especially given the circumstances of what we've all been through.
Yes, it's been hard, and you kind of look out towards the memorial. You see there's a statue of a small Herongon in an apron, carrying a ladle, standing amongst them. And on that note, we're going to actually cut over to Cress.
Oh.
Me.
Cress. I will say, actually, sorry, before we jump over, Commune, it's going to take you a few hours. It's going to just take you a few hours as you're working on the tattoo before you go.
That makes sense.
Watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay?
Yep.
All right. Cress. You are gliding through the air over the remnants of the Irenwud. You see the trees kind of passing in a blur below you, several of them still upstanding, several of them not, as you know that when the wave had passed through, it took out quite a bit. You can see the destruction beneath you. As you fly from the coast, along the jagged coast by the Sandsea, flying now across the Irenwood towards the town of Irenwood. The sky above you has gone from the blaring midday desert to kind of a cool purple and blue twilight. The sun now at your back towards the south, and before you the sky is continuing to darken. It's getting it's a fairly temperate zone right now. It's not too cold, it's not too hot. It's definitely a lot cooler than it was back in the desert. And beneath you, you feel the stirring of the muscles as there is a large beat, an echo of wind. Snorting and snarling as a golden drake keeps you aloft.
I lean down to him. I know, but it's bad everywhere.
The wings kind of flying, and as you kind of continue along, watching the destruction beneath you, up ahead, you see a series of earthen columns, right? Kind of multi-tiered, almost like a strange tower off in the distance, just on the horizon.
That's
just
new, correct?
That is new. That is new. You've flown through here before, and you've not seen anything quite like that. And you can see it's just at the foot of the mountain range. And roll a quick survival check.
A quick one. Well, I rolled a 5, but that's a 12.
Okay. And again, this is kind of a space you are familiar with, right? You expect that you would be nearing where the village would be, where the town would be.
Mm-hmm.
And as you kind of come up, you can start to see, Cuthbert kind of drifting slower as things start to come into sight. Possibly structures off in the distance. With your passive perception, you can kind of make out what looked like possibly buildings. And Cuthbert kind of begins to slow, unsure, waiting for your direction. He kind of starts to bank off to the side.
Okay. As he banks, anyone who might be on watch at this moment would see a golden drake flying through the air, one that they might be familiar with. And atop it, there is this petite individual. They're 4'9", very teeny. They have this amelanastically white skin drifting to teal. There are these scales that are glinted with yellows and orange, more teal, reminiscent of tropical fish, as a sea elf starts flying into this space. They have this prismatic white hair, very long, that fades to an ombre yellow, and are wearing these very militaristic vestments, but they've seen a lot of wear and tear, and they are covered with the bric-a-brac of an adventurer, the things that you collect and assort on your travels, little seashells, so many vials and herbs. These chaps that seem made for long-distance riding. And across their skin, there are these strange tattoos that don't seem to want to stay put. There's this near constant flicker and flow of ink that extends their natural features. There are these occasional slivers of opalescent yellow and teal flecked scales that drift like petals across their face and their shoulder, highlighting their temples. Waves flow down their neck and across their arms. Teal betta fish swim and are chased by yellow canaries across their sternum. And just a pair of deep blue eyes stare at what appears to be the wreckage of a place that they are very fond of.
Take an inspiration dice. Honestly, every time I hear the description of Cress,
I already had one!
It's just the most... I know, but it's always just so awesome.
Thank you.
So, Cress, roll a perception check for us as Cuthbert's kind of taking this bank and you're kind of looking out over town.
I'm rolling pretty bad, but I'm good at perception. So there's a 9 on the dice for a 16.
16? As you kind of bank around, you see tents. You see an assortment of multicolored tents, different fabrics, different makes, kind of dotting some of the tops of the pedestals. You just between the gaps of the ironwood trees, you also see, other some more permanent structures, but those are few and far between. Things actually made of wood and built. For the most part, a lot of the housing looks very makeshift. There are also some very rough palisades kind of constructed along the outer borders. One exception, being a large stone structure, multi-tiered, 3-tiered, 3-tiered kind of at the front, 2-tiered towards the back, with these kind of large windows, which you recognize as possibly a temple of some sort. That is the one exception, kind of like at the center. Making your way around now, Cuthbert kind of keeping a light glide. You can also kind of see the statues, the memorial constructed just at the base of the temple. Finn, can we also get a perception check from you, please?
No! Okay, yeah.
Never!
Not today, sir.
Natural 20!
Oh! See everything.
Hold on,
Yes.
hold on. There, can you see it? Oh, there it is.
That's the first nat 20 of the game.
He sees all.
Finn, as you are kind of like working away at the tattoo, finishing touches just kind of coming on now, right?
Sure.
Just kind of doing some light little like cleaning up the lines, just connecting a few shapes and that kind of thing. Out of the corner of your eye, there's like a glint of gold. As you kind of look through the windows of the temple, you see up in the sky a large creature just kind of gliding across.
Sort of look at the friend he's tattooing. Ever see that before?
Jakar kind of leans forward, looks out and goes, "Can't be."
Can't be what?
Quickly. Kind of, and just lurches forward. You're like,
Grabs
still
his
instruments in
sword. He's
hand.
like, what the fuck? Careful, I don't want to fuck this last little bit up. Shit.
As he kind of runs out, you can see other townsfolk are kind of like gathering now, also kind of looking up and stuff. It's gotten the attention of quite a few people. Cress, you can see people kind of gathering, especially on that platform. On all of the platforms, folks are just kind of starting to take a look out. And then you, Finn, Jakar kind of looks forward and goes, "Ha ha! I never thought it. This is amazing!" Jumps forward and casts Produce Flame and launches it into the air. And kind of claps his hands. A flame just kind of emerges in the palm as he kind of throws it up into the air. It flies up and explodes. Cress, you can kind of see, you see that very obviously, some sort of signal, and kind of tracking down, you see the large shape of Jakar kind of waving towards you.
They wave frantically. There's this burst of lightning as Cuthbert responds to the call and then changes direction and heads straight toward Jakar. Alright, there
Banks
they are.
flaps the wings. And kind of starts kind of gliding down. Everybody on just in front of the temple, just by the memorial, are all just starting to kind of like back away as Cuthbert is kind of coming in, this golden drake. Finn, you've heard stories of dragons. You've heard stories of their majesty and their might. You've never seen one. Dragons are, for the most part, thought to be extinct in this world. As one lands not 10 feet before you. And you see a small sea elf upon its back. And people are just in awe. Folks are kind of like scared and hanging back, unsure of what to do, except for Jakar, who runs forward and he goes, "Ha ha! Cress!"
They hop down. "Hello, Jakar!" They hop down, and I think they just run and hug him around his middle.
Oh yeah, and he kind of runs forward and kind of scoops you up.
I'm so glad you're alive.
You... Same. I'm glad to see you. We'd all thought the worst.
Oh, it's bad, but, I mean, we're alive. Pim's alive. I think they kind of lower their voice as they look around. I think Granny's alive, but we gotta talk. Do you know if Granny Ilda's around?
Jakar, as the news kind of hits him, you can see him kind of like his gaze kind of drift over to the statue following. You can see the statue of Mal Smith built there. He goes, yes, of course. Lady Elda is very likely somewhere in the town, helping whoever she can. We can certainly go look for her. You think Granny is alive? You're sure?
As of 4 days ago, she was. I think she's in Damaril.
Cress, this is amazing news. Finn, you cannot help but kind of see as Jakar is kind of like, we'll say Cress, you're kind of like walking and talking, right? People are kind of gathering around, just kind of like staring at Cuthbert and giving kind of like a wide berth. Finn, what are you doing in this moment as Jakar is talking and Jakar and Cress are talking?
I think he is truly taking in this individual that created such a genuine response from this relatively stoic individual. And he's very impressed. I think riding in on the Drake and just that that general response from this individual that he's tattooed quite a bit. I think there's this deep reverence for what that means and this curiosity to want to know more. So I think he's just sort of leaned back on a tree, just kind of forearm on a hill, just smiling, just kind of.
Sure.
Interesting.
Cress, couple things. Jakar looks quite different right now. I should have mentioned this.
Okay.
When you saw him
no.
earlier, he definitely looks a little bit more gray around the muzzle.
Oh.
Right? Little flecks of white kind of starting to show. He's always a big guy, but he maybe looks like a little bit leaner. Right? And all across his arms, he now has these tattoos all along his arms, his neck, as he's kind of, talking about finding Elda with you. So those are some of the differences. Before, he did not really have any tattoos, and he definitely looked a little bit less post-apocalyptic, let's say.
They are the tattoos. These are sharp.
Yes, we've got quite an artist. In fact, he might be just the person we need. Ben!
Is that right?
Jakar kind of hails you over.
Already looking and then being immediately like, sorry, what, me? Yeah, of course. Sure. He walks over.
How tall is Finn?
Oh, shit. Well, hold on. I had it. Let me grab the sheet.
Say now, Jakar is 7 foot even.
7 foot.
He's towering over Cress. Yeah.
I think Finn is fairly similar. Hold on. Let me double check.
Cress is just
My
always
neck hurts.
Because Cress is small, correct?
Yes.
4'9".
Oh, he's 7'6". Finn is
7'6".
Oh my
You're
gosh.
taller than Jakar. Yeah,
Jesus.
As a Goliath steps forward, Cress, you've probably seen like maybe a handful of Goliath throughout your life. They don't fare upon the seas too far beyond their range. You do know that. And they stay usually pretty close to their mountain, the Nexenkov mountain, up in like the north western region. I should. Okay, so
how do you spell that?
A-N, Nexon, and then apostrophe.
God damn you. Okay.
You son of a bitch.
I was really hesitant to say it. Q-U-A-V.
Okay.
Kov.
Nexenkov. That's
Yeah,
how you pronounce it?
Nexenkov
Okay.
Mountain. Yep.
All right.
So yeah, as Finn makes his way over, Jakar goes, Cress, allow me to introduce Master Finn Reese. He has been a companion and ally of the sage Elder Earthbreaker for some time.
Oh, that's good to hear. Jesus Christ.
Pleasure.
Whoever that is, Thadril.
Agile Christ.
I'm Cress Estuary. It's great to meet you.
Finn Reese, pleasure. If you got that sort of reaction out of my friend here, excited to meet you.
I'm not special. Cuthbert is.
Yeah.
You see the Drake kind of like head kind of pulled up as people are, as like a couple of young children, right, who are not sure that they should be afraid or not, have kind of like lingered forward, and they're kind of like looking under his wing and stuff like that. You see parents like coming forward to kind of get them, and as they're kind of as things are getting more frantic, Cuthbert's kind of like,
All right, one sec. Is Tommy around?
roll a perception check.
Please don't be dead. Please don't be dead.
It's just kind of a
21.
big perception check. I'm sorry.
21.
I will say with the 21, you expertly notice that he's not around.
Fuck.
Sorry, I shouldn't have asked for a roll because he's not there. As you look around, there is no Tommy. You look around, you don't see any Heron gone actually. With the 21, I'll give you that right away. There are a multitude of races, a lot of refugees of different heritages, that kind of stuff. But none of them are Heron gone.
Tell you what, we can.
Who are you looking for?
I just. Cuthbert's fine with kids, but Tommy knows him best.
I would
Jakar.
be aware of.
Yeah, you've met Tommy actually.
And that's the kid with the spider.
That's the kid with the spider.
Okay.
He was running around with the spider. Yeah.
I would know that this is a not good situation.
This is a not good situation.
I hate to be the one to tell you this. Things obviously got bad here. And Tommy and the others didn't make it. I was gonna go look for Penn later on today. Be happy to take you to them.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry.
Gar kind of hanging his head as well. Kind of puts a hand on your shoulder, Cress. If Granny is alive, we need to tell Penn.
Yeah, we have to. Alright, maybe Cuthbert should come with then. Hey, buddy. They'll say in Draconic.
Mm-hmm.
Just a very sudden shift.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to come? Do you want to come with me?
Trots forward eagerly. He kind of like makes it like a first like initial bound, and as he does so, the crowd just kind of immediately just kind of parts.
There's like one wing flap that just brings him over a Pomerantula.
Yep.
I think as everybody starts moving forward, Finn will just rip some of the already tattered cape, kind of fold it, hand it to Cress. If you need it.
Oh, that's very kind.
I've done
just a lot of learning. I didn't want to learn.
Done a fair bit of that myself. So
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sure.
It's hard moving forward like this, but I take it if you need it.
Thank you. They'll compose themselves and then nod to Jakar and Finn. Granny Elda then.
Sure.
Very well. You are led towards the lift. As you kind of behind the memorial, just in some ways, you can see, Cress, that there is this large wooden structure with numerous cables that kind of go up a column of earth. You can see this gated lift, kind of like a basket suspended from it, kind of traveling along these ropes, right? As there are operators kind of at the helm of it, and it is kind of drifting down towards you all. As Jakar has kind of walked over while you guys were talking and kind of collecting, he kind of started getting this down. You step onto the lift. It is too small for Cuthbert, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But as it kind of travels upwards, Cuthbert kind of, as he kind of like almost like puts a foot on, right? Like he's about to come with you.
They smile up at him like, you think so? You're smarter than me. You do the math for me, huh?
Kind of falls back into like a.
I can
into
fly
like
up with you.
dejected state.
Do you want company?
whips the tail. Right, you can see the beat of the wings. Kind of leans into you a little bit.
All right, they climb up on him. I'll see you up there then.
Sure. Hey, if it means anything to you, I think the rider's just as interesting as the Drake itself.
That is very kind of you to say. But you're wrong. And they take off.
Cuthbert kind of beats off the wings. Big surge of air as like grass dirt just flares outwards. Your tattered cape, Finn, just kind of beats against you.
Finn's
as it is
gonna
kind of left flapping.
Finn's gonna look over at Jakar. Uh-oh. Right. Friend of yours?
They leave quite an impression, do they not?
Color me impressed.
Well, let's get on with it.
Yeah, sure.
I must deliver this news. And as they are kind of like lifting the elevator, the lift up, Cress, you kind of circle around, right? You can kind of go around the tree. You can see, Cress, you are a druid. This isn't hard for you to tell that this tree is ailing. Right? It looks ill. And you get this, as you look at it, you get this kind of roiling in your belly.
Oh no.
Something about it makes you feel just a little bit uneasy.
In a familiar way?
In a way similar to you had experienced back in the desert, yes. Kind of circle around. Cuthbert lands just on the roots over the stone passageway, Finn, as you make it to the top as well. So, Jakar says, leads you guys down this passageway, right? There are lanterns along every like 30 feet or so. And you can, as you make your way down, you can see that different sections have been hollowed out to make different like little rooms where people are kind of residing in. You're passing just rooms that are, like maybe 12 by 12 rooms with like just tons of beds stuffed in them, cots, all manner of like fabric and humanity just kind of sitting around, making different things, sharing meals, talking. And eventually you pass one of these small little passages, and in there you see an elderly hill dwarf dressed in animal skins, leaning upon a wooden staff, telling stories to these children as they are trying to fall asleep. And she stands there and she says, "And there was Callian, a knight, a paladin of Tazif. He was one of the bravest I'd ever known. And among them were also Tiefling from Azafast. This one had quite a way with words. And as you were all kind of stepping in, he goes, Master Reese, rest now, children. I'll be just a moment."
Take your time.
For anyone who doesn't know, it's just name-dropping characters from a previous campaign. It's very meta to hear about your own character.
Love that shit.
Granny kind of settles the kids in, strokes their heads. It's all different races. I'm sorry, is that my dog?
Dog's going nuts.
Yeah.
Some of the kids actually are really struggling. Right?
Jitterbug.
Yes.
I was like, what's that? Oh.
How about you come out here? Come here, bud.
Jitterbug.
Thank you.
It's now a puppy stream. Fuck D&D.
Yes.
Puppy.
Let's see. So Granny settles the kids in, makes her way back over to your little party, the three of you. And looks, and her eyes kind of focus in, and she's kind of taking you all in, and they kind of land on Cress, and just a small smile cracks the face. This wizened, old, leathery face as she looks at you. I'd almost begun to thought we wouldn't see you again.
I almost felt the same. Can I ask,
Mm-hmm.
do I get an aura of defilement from her now?
from her as she kind of stands forward. You don't get any sort of aura from defilement from her.
Okay.
But do roll a let's call this a wisdom check. Don't add your proficiency, but just a general wisdom check.
Okay. Oh, it's bad. I rolled a 2, so that's 7.
Okay. I will say, as you're making your way down, I mean, the roots of this tree are just kind of run deep, right? So you're passing those roots. So you do feel like this constant aura. It's hard to tell like what the source might be at the moment, but it's there. And as you kind of make your way down, your skin feels, just uncomfortable around you. It's very unsettling. It's deeply unsettling. Finn, you do not experience this at all.
I just put them together.
As
Just put
they
them
are
together, yeah.
walking down. I love it.
Who did it?
Granny
Who did
Elda. Sorry, not Granny Elda. That was this character's name in a campaign. The
Sorry, yeah,
Sage
I've been
Elda.
really.
Who did
My
it?
bad. Sage Elda.
Sage Elda looks at you and can see the discomfort playing on you, right? Or are you trying to mask it, I guess?
No. No, I think
Okay.
they were actually openly reading her to see if the source was her. And, seeing that it's not radiating from Elda,
Mm-hmm.
their brow kind of furrows.
He looks at you and goes, "Things have been difficult here in your absence. Come with me. I see you have questions."
I do. I feel bad. I'm dragging you guys along. They look up at Finn and Jakar.
That's what I'm here for. I go where people need me. So, seems like this is plenty important, and plus you've very much piqued my interests.
All right, then, come along.
As your little group is walking, Elda starts asking you, Cress, what happened on your travels? When last you left, you were in the company of Pimenia Knackle, I believe, and
Yes, I was.
dear friend Al Smith.
Yes, I have a lot to tell you. I'm pulling up my calendar because I knew I'd forget these things.
That's okay. This was
Um,
back in like February.
February, yeah.
Yeah.
On
This is months
February
ago.
25th. We, that is me, Pim, and Granny Mal, we were kidnapped by Illithid. They swarmed us. It was... we were outnumbered, and they were far more powerful than us. And I have to tell you that there were 5 Ironborn Rangers with us, none of whom survived. Morgaine, Yanvi, Corbin, Indigo, and Gilda. We were held captive for 3 months. We were in stasis chambers. We were not conscious to the outside world. I think Pim may have gotten out a couple times. She's very capable. But on May 18th, we found ourselves in the frog grove of the Whispering Jungle. Other individuals boarded the ship. We managed to escape our chambers, but something had happened to Mal. I think they were controlling her mentally somehow, and she stepped through a portal, and I saw the Tower of Damaril behind her.
Finn, roll a history check as you were overhearing this.
I was gonna say, I think his stomach is already sinking. Why my character sheet quos, you bitch. 1 second.
Where'd it go?
Who
Who am I?
am I? Where's my son?
That's my boy.
That's my boy. History check.
Yeah, history check.
17.
17. You recall, just before the last wave struck, actually, Elda had asked you to investigate the town of Damarol.
Yeah.
That was actually where you were headed.
Yeah. When the world ended.
When the world ended. Yeah, Elda takes all of this in. So, Mal Smith may be alive,
As of 4 days ago, she was.
but under the control of these, you called them illithids.
Yes, I may have done an aggressive autopsy. They attempted to turn Gilda into one of them. They were unsuccessful. The result was... I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
The result was a sort of... a half-formed individual. Part of her still half-orc, the other... with those... I don't know if you've seen them. They have these tentacles, almost, on their faces. Very tall and slick. They have this capacity to reach into your mind.
Looking around the faces of those gathered with you, including Finn, no spark of recognition as to this creature that you were describing. So there's more than just the scum.
Yes, there is. And if I may say, I believe I have an idea of their intent. Did you hear the monarch when he said he would break the cycle?
Yes, we all heard it.
Yeah.
Given the pantheon of Oros being a cyclical pantheon, I believe they came with the express intent to defeat the pantheon of Oros.
They want to fight the very gods.
I think they might be winning.
So these creatures from beyond the astral sea have come to slay our gods or wage war against them. And we are the battlefield, is what you're saying.
It's just a hunch.
It's a disturbing hunch, certainly. Well, here we are. And you see there is a room with these kind of strips of cloth creating kind of a doorway, kind of sealing it off. Heavy sail canvas, and it is kind of pushed aside. You walk in, and immediately you are greeted by a very happy, wiggly dog who bounds forward. Very thin, kind of mangy skin. Cress, being familiar with animals, you'd think this is probably like a young pup, right? Who kind of bounds forward and is kind of like stomping on the ground, happy to see Finn and Elda, and kind of wiggles right up to Finn, kind of starts pressing into her.
Come here, girl.
And she's kind of like jumping on him. Very happy, you can see.
He takes some of the food that he definitely did not eat and just gives it to the dog.
Okay, you kind of break into some meat pies that some townsfolk. He kind of the dog kind of like jumps down and kind of starts just going straight into it. She's not the only creature in the room, though. Sitting by a small desk on a rocking chair, you see a teenage dwarven girl, her hair in braids, poorly kept, her cheeks a bit sunken, as she's just kind of staring at a candle on the table. And she is just kind of not moving, doesn't respond to your arrival or anything, as the party of you kind of step in. She kind of circles around you. The dog circles around you, Finn, and makes its way over to the girl and starts kind of like nudging at her knee, right? And then kind of comes back over towards you and kind of starts wiggling by you some more. almost as if kind of trying to get some response out of the child as she just kind of stands there, just mute.
All right.
Give her time.
Cress, emanating from this individual, you feel just this sickly feeling coming from her. This corruption, this rot that sits in your belly and almost makes you want to gag. Your joints feel kind of achy just looking at her. And Elda kind of crosses the room. You can see Jakar also kind of hangs back towards the outer end of the room, not really approaching. And Elda kind of steps forward and looks to the table and pulls aside a little bowl, right? And in the bowl, you can see there are berries. She starts bringing them up to the girl's mouth. Come on, dear. Important that you keep your strength up. As she kind of puts a berry in the mouth, you can see the girl kind of starts chewing, swallows, turns to you, Finn, and goes, every day she's getting maybe a little bit stronger, but it's still slower than I'd like to see. At least she can eat on her own. And her strength is coming back. Here, kind of takes you by the hand, Finn, right? Kind of rests your hand in hers, in the young girl's, and you can feel her kind of just lightly grip around your wrist. She's regaining some function here as well, but she's still got a long road ahead of her.
Right.
And looks to you, Cress, and says, this child saved the Irenwud as best she could. She used her powers, her connection to the Earth Mother, to raise the town of the last wave. In the process, something happened.
Right. I might know a little bit about that too. There are Yuan-Ti in the Whispering Jungle who describe a process of drawing the elemental life force from the earth. They call it defilement.
Looks to the girl. So, there are those who have some control over it.
I have seen miles of land turn to nothing but ash by it.
I believe when she worked her magic, she drew upon the ingot, the Irenwud above us. First Irenwud that was tamed by me and my circle when we came to this land. Its power, it's fading.
What happens when it fades completely?
I do not know. But the results are likely to be
Has anything fallen sick because of it? Aside from this young person?
not that I am aware of, no.
That's good.
Most can't sense this corruption. Those of us sensitive to nature, we can feel it, it seems. But Finn, here, you, as far as I know, don't feel this.
No, not particularly sensitive to that myself.
Most of the families here have no idea what she is.
Well, she's a hero. They'll look at this young girl. I'm sorry.
did what she could. But there were sacrifices, of course. When she raised the town, those settlements closer towards the outskirts they didn't make it. Among them was your ally and mine, Granny Smith's burrows. We're just at the edge. If Malice is alive, it would do Penn some good, I think, Finn, to learn of this.
Yes, I agree. Also, I made an oath to you to go to Damaril. Seems that opportunity has presented itself yet again. I happily keep that oath. Offer the assistance I can, like I always have.
I appreciate your candor, but I must think about this. You are valuable to our town. I'm not certain I can spare you. But let me think on it. Take Cress here, find Penn. Give her some good news.
Do what I can. Thank you, my lady.
Thank you, Finn, for everything. You can see she kind of pets you on the forearm, kind of gives it a little bit of a squeeze. Cress, quick insight check.
Ooh! 19 plus stuff.
19 plus stuff.
I love stuff.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Insight. 24.
Ooh, hell yeah.
Oh,
get it.
with the 24, you can easily tell that there is a bond here between Elda and Finn. This person commands like the whole respect of the sage of the Irenwud.
That's not nothing.
That's not nothing. Your group kind of departs, right? Anything else you'd like to do here? Yeah. Okay.
I think Finn will just check on the girl.
Sure.
Just sort of lean down. Well, little thread of hope today, and I think that's a good thing. Dangle that in front of you. Keep it in the forefront of whatever vision you have at this moment in time. Chase it. Light's coming. And I'm sorry you're in this darkness.
Yeah. She stares past you. Just before you go, it's a slight grip. So, you guys leave. Head back upstairs. Jakar looks to you, Finn, and says, as you guys are now back up at the top, I'm going to meet with the other tree singers. I still have work to do. Cress, it's been good seeing you.
It's been good to see you. Are the tree singers all right?
We're getting by as best we can. As you can see, and he kind of gestures towards the palisades and the lift. We've been busy. Thanks to you, we were able to construct what we needed to survive. We'll always be grateful.
Well, if you end up needing any more tea, they'll just kind of smile. So where's Penn?
Finn, you know where Penn is.
Yeah, I can take you to them.
All right. So, Cuthbert, I know this has been happening a lot recently. How's he looking as Cress approaches with another individual?
He's kind of like curled up along the stone, kind of facing towards the sun, just at the roots of the Irenwud. And as you approach, Cress, give a quick insight check.
My boy!
My boy.
Worse than the last one.
Oh no. At
14.
advantage, it's Cuthbert. It is Cuthbert.
Same roll, 14.
You have
Wow,
that inspiration point.
I'm gonna... He'll tell me.
I'd be a bitch to do it.
Okay. You can tell Cuthbert is, as you approach, you've seen him sleep and rest and all that kind of stuff. And as you approach here, you can see he's not quite... What he's doing is he's kind of like sitting up with his head kind of like pressed up against a tree. And it's almost more of like a meditation versus a rest. As you come up, there's a stillness to him. And then as the two of you kind of get within range, he kind of opens one large green eye and looks to you, Cress. Snakes the head forward and kind of nudges you.
Can you feel it too?
A big warm snort of air. It kind of like tussles Cress and Finn. You can just kind of feel the heat off of it as the eye kind of like drifts from kind of this, soft looking at Cress to kind of now locking in on you. And you can feel as he kind of looks at you, Finn, even with just your passive insight, you can tell there's a wisdom and intelligence here. This is not a mere beast before you.
Given that, he'll do it. He'll just kind of bow forward.
Okay.
Pleasure to meet you.
Roll an animal handling check, please.
I'm ready, dozy. Yeah.
Are you? Aren't you? Don't you have a rune or some shit?
Well, that actually wasn't terrible. And 16.
Okay. Yeah, 16. Yeah, 16's good. As you kind of, bow, Cuthbert kind of looks you over, dips the head. Kind of nudges you, Cress, awaiting your instructions.
The look of the pre-ask.
Yeah. So, how is this?
So, we might have a new friend. His name is Finn. He seems to be interested in maybe going to Damaril. In which case, he'd be someone you'd be getting comfortable with. Are you comfortable with that?
Kind of looks Finn up and down. Right? Cress, Finn is easily the biggest person Cuthbert's ever going to have to carry on his back.
I'm so sorry. No!
I mean,
know.
with all of the different riders that you've seen.
I know. Edenor was what, like 6'6"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy's at least a foot taller. And, Finn's pretty cut, right?
Finn's fucking huge, dude. He's yoked as shit.
Yeah. So Cuthbert's almost a little bit intimidated, but you can't see.
Man, my back already hurts.
It's like, oh god.
You
just flew here for hours.
With
but...
that animal handling, am I able to gauge that that's what this creature is looking at? Is like the size differential?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, exactly. Like measuring almost.
I think he just
As
sort of
like.
I'd like to apologize in advance that I'm not a halfling or a gnome. Sorry.
And you can actually see, Finn, that there are two side saddles that look gnome-sized, on like sidecars on either side that he's used to.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna fit those.
Oh no,
And
you
look
are not.
You look at those and you almost think like, well, roll an investigation check for me.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. 11. Oh shit, 13.
Okay, with the 13, you notice a couple things, or at least a couple things become obvious, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps maybe these little side saddles will work out as stirrups, right? Maybe you can more like stand in them rather than like sit in them. But also, as you kind of like look at them, you see a mark written onto the saddle. it looks like a kind of a deep X, right? That kind of leans into like another secondary ruin with like a small little like jutting line. And as you look at it, you recognize this symbol as the maker's mark of Zion Fullrest, a leather worker in the Ironwood.
He does good work.
You know Zion?
Familiar.
He does. Their face falls immediately. Is he,
He is okay.
He's okay.
He's good. Yeah.
With the way my screen is.
Yeah. That is the individual that I did a murder in front of, correct?
Possibly.
I think so.
Yeah, he's a Leonin.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That is the man that witnessed me just bisect an individual.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
no.
him.
Zion's good. He's good. I made sure of that myself.
appreciate that.
Of course. He was a good man.
I look up at Cuthbert, who seems to still be weighing this decision.
Kind of leans forward, and he looks like he's going to give it a try. He kind of like, inside check, you can see, just like passive insight, he kind of like moves forward.
I'm so sorry.
All right,
He kind
he
of crouches
accepts.
down.
It's an honor. Doesn't accept anybody.
I know, I greatly appreciate that. I just wish I had an ability that made me smaller instead of larger. We'll sort of loop around, sit, and he's doing the kind of sit where his ass is in his shoulders. He's trying to like hold as much weight upward as possible.
Gotcha.
Still a Drake, like
I
he's
know.
sizable.
I think he's
Yeah.
just insecure.
Yeah.
He's just
Sure.
okay. Right.
Especially compared to like Cress kind of taking shotgun on this,
Yeah.
taking the helm here,
Yeah.
sitting before like very almost like the saddle almost looks, because this is Cress. I know we made the sidecars, but the saddle itself is a
The
bit
saddle
old,
is
right?
not mine. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see that they don't quite fit the saddle completely as they kind of sit in. It looks like it was a saddle for like a bigger individual or larger stature. But the two of you get up on Cuthbert. Finn, you feel a little uneasy as he kind of stands up, lifting off of the ground. You now kind of feel, whoa,
Oh,
you
shit.
are very much at the mercy
All right,
of this
hold on.
creature.
Oh boy. The
You kinda
instinctual wrap around like Cress, like, oh my god. Oh
Yeah,
my
Cress-
It's
god.
gonna be fun.
Sorry, is this okay? I can let go.
Yeah. No, don't let go.
Okay.
As the two of you are arguing about that, Cuthbert just kind of, and rather than run forward and fly,
No.
just kind of rolls off the side
What's he doing?
Hold
as,
on.
as you guys just go briefly inverted. Cress, roll an animal handling check at advantage.
Let's go.
I'm pissing myself.
Don't.
Well, sorry. Figure of
It's
speech.
good.
You gotta clean that out of the saddle, buddy.
23.
23, yeah, 23. You're able to kind of like you've got the reins on, right? You kind of Cuthbert doing shit like this to you.
It's his brand. They
Yeah.
hold onto the reins and they go, woo! And as
As
they
you kind
fall.
of like tip over the side, the wings just kind of get furled in, and Finn, there's a sickening feeling in your stomach as you drop,
No,
and then
no.
you twist, and you're upside down for a moment. Then you kind of continue the barrel roll, and Cuthbert just powerfully pushes off the side of the rock, and the wings flare up, catches the wind, and there's just this rock as you are swung around.
All right, where are we going? Because you're leading the way.
I don't think any words are coming to this individual. He just points over there.
All right, bud, right down there.
Cuthbert kind of flaps higher up, right, towards the direction as he orients towards it, kind of lifts up on an updraft, and then just tucks the wings in and pulls down as you guys go into another free fall. As you can tell, Cress, he is loving just fucking with Finn.
Yeah.
As he's just kind of like drifting
They
down.
remember being the recipient of this and are
Mhm.
just like, God, it feels good not to be in the saddle anymore.
Yes, he's kind of like falling, going into like a corkscrew kind of move.
Yeah.
The wings flare back out, and it's just kind of it's a lot of like sharp banks and twists in the air. Very graceful. But if unused to it, definitely anxiety inducing. Sure enough, though, up ahead, you guys, as you kind of glide along the breeze, you see what looks like a large ironwood stump that has been overturned towards kind of the northwest corner of the ironwood. This stump has just kind of been it's on its side. You can see just a collection of roots jutting out from the bottom, right, caked in dirt and dust. And as you watch, as you kind of pull in, it is quiet. There's a stillness about it. As Cuthbert kind of pulls in, the wings flapping. It's not corrupted or anything, but there's definitely almost like a sorrow to the place, Cress, as you recognize this was a place where you had dinner a couple times under the chefing of Granny Mal Smith. You remember as you walk around, young Herringons of varying ages running around playing tag. You remember the conversations of people who were gathered here to just have like a warm meal and sharing each other's company in the wake of the invasion as more refugees flooded towards the Ironwood. You can see that there are plates and tables and chairs just kind of overturned on the front side of the stump as you make your way around. And then up ahead, just kind of sitting on a wooden chair, high-backed, leaning on two legs, just kind of staring at the forest, you see a gray Herringon, young, very athletic build, very lean muscle. And as you step forward, they turn over to you. And they see Finn first with his stature. And then the eyes drift over to Cress. And the chair just gives out from underneath them. As they kind of tumble down. And they're like,
run
shit.
to her, to them. Yeah. She, they pronouns?
They, them.
Just they, them. Okay. They run over to them.
Yep. As you come
Are
forward.
you okay?
Just like getting up. Cress! Oh my god! Runs forward and just arms around you.
I imagine like
tight.
A bunny hop, and then they're like all of a sudden the
just
same
like
height.
2 big bounds, bam, bam, boom, boom, hits you right square in the chest. Off dog. Sorry, my dog wants a hug too now. Oh no! Oh no! We hugged them right out of the
sorry.
recording.
I don't know what happened. I pressed. 1 sec.
It's all good.
Sorry, I got excited.
This pen kind of, runs forward and just kind of squeezes you, presses the face into your shoulder, pulls you aside. Granny, do you?
Yes. 4 days ago, I was with her.
She's alive?
As far as I know. Pen, there's a lot to explain, but I think she's in Damaril. I think she's still alive. She was, as of 4 days ago. That's what I've got.
Oh my god. Kind of stumbles backwards and looks around at the stump.
I'm sorry.
She can... Yeah. She could be alive. We've got to find her.
Yes. If she is, she needs help. As far as I'm aware, there are people controlling her right now. People connected to the Monarch. She's strong, and they could tell. And they wanted that.
She's in Damrel. Maybe.
That's where I last saw her.
Looks to you, Finn. Finn. She could be there.
I know.
What do we...
I've already asked Lady Elda to let me
What'd
go.
she say?
Said she'd think on it. I'm needed here, but I swore to you, and I swore to this place an oath to do right by it, and if getting Malice Smith back here is for the betterment of the Irenwud, I go. It's just that easy.
You're a good friend. And as this exchange is happening, Cress, roll a perception check.
Like
Me?
Asp.
What happened?
What happened?
What happened? It's good. What is 23?
What is math?
With
What
a
is that?
23, Cress, as this exchange is happening, and the group of you are sitting there, you're talking, and just kind of processing the repercussions of this information. You hear a rustling in the bushes.
No.
You hear something making its way through the underbrush. And do you do anything?
They look in that direction, and they just Druid craft the leaves on the trees that it's going through parting so that they can see what it is.
Sure. As you do so, you see a large creature, the hulking shape of something kind of making its way out from behind the tree line, what remains of the tree line. And you see 1, 2, 3, 8 eyes, orange, staring back towards you as a large spider just kind of comes into view into the clearing. You can see that this spider's hair is this kind of like apricot orange that kind of like, accentuates along the back, along the face, and along the fangs. You can see by the joints of each segment of the leg are just these kind of like shaggy puffs with moss and greenery kind of like growing in to the, I guess, fur of this spider.
Giant pomerantula?
As you look towards it, it seems to be a giant pomerantula.
Is it curly?
As you look towards it, you do notice that its fur is actually these tight, wound little curls.
You got so big so fast. What the fuck?
As it kind of comes forward, and Pan looks at it, goes, huh, so you're back.
Finn,
Steps
sword is
forward.
drawn, just...
No, but no, it's fine. This is a friend,
It's a what?
I think. Yeah. They'll speak with animals.
Jeez.
Sure.
Hi, Curly.
Curly kind of steps forward as you take on your animalistic speech. Finn, you hear Cress. You see Cress kind of, call you down, and then turn and starts kind of these clicks that kind of emerge from the voice. And you can see Curly kind of stepping forward, making these kind of like strange postures, right? Staring at you, Cress, and you hear the deep voice kind of hollow out. Hello.
Damn.
Kind of like bows the head
Holy
down
shit.
towards you.
Hello,
You see,
ally.
hello.
Jesus Christ. They. What happened? How did you get so big?
Hello. you remember Curly has a fairly limited
Pretty dumb.
vocabulary.
Yeah.
Not super bright. Not Cuthbert level of intelligence.
Yeah.
Here. And starts kind of hopping on the ground, right? And you can see, and
They
you hear
replicate it.
Yeah. Oh, you see Cress starting to kind of hop in front of this spider, and Penn goes, "Oh, you know the dances too, I guess."
What the fuck is happening here?
This thing comes by every week. This thing comes by all the time, every day that I'm here, and starts doing this dance at me. And looks at Curly, kind of hopping with Cress, and goes, "Oh, that's a new one though." And Curly kind of like moves and starts kind of scratching at the ground with the two front legs.
Can I interpret that? Bunny.
Shaking the head. And then kind of stomps again. Ally. And starts kind of...
They point toward Damaril and do the dance. Bunny.
So you're kind of pointing towards the north.
Yeah.
Kind of orients towards the north. Roll an animal handling check at advantage with your speak with animals.
Okay, 22.
22. As you kind of like make your motion towards really kind of taking on the form. You've transformed into a spider multiple times, and some part of that communication, that those kind of like dances that they do to kind of send information is retained as you kind of like make your way towards, and you kind of like you kind of orient towards it. Curly kind of excitedly kind of orients towards it. Bunny.
They nod, kind of nuzzle Curly, and then they say, and then they go like this.
Kind of looks at you with your animal handling check. I'm just going to kind of ride that for a while. Kind of tilts the head, a little unsure of what you mean, but is aware that you are trying to communicate a different idea, and kind of bounces in front of you, and then kind of hops up on the hind legs, right? Clicks like the two center legs together and starts going, goop. Drops down, hops back
Is there
up.
any goop nearby?
Roll a perception check.
Yeah, please don't be gone. 14.
With a 14, looking around, you're not seeing any goop in the area, but Curly drops down and kind of scutters into the woods beyond the tree line, and like almost like takes off, moving very fast.
Fuck. Okay, they follow.
Okay, follow. You see Cress run into the woods after this spider, Finn. Penn looking. What
shit
the fuck was that?
Wait, Curly, stop.
Curly's just kind of booking it. You're able to kind of keep
Curly!
Curly in sight.
Penn
looks to you, Finn. Do we follow?
Unfortunately, he starts running forward.
Okay. You start chasing after the spider through the woods. And eventually, the spider seems to take you for quite a walk, Cress. Every time he kind of gets a little bit ahead, stops, right? You catch up, kind of nods, ally, and then kind of goes, bunny.
I wish you were a little... Okay.
And turns around and takes off again. It's just kind of, ally, bunny, goop. As you're hearing now the voice calling out ahead as you are running forward.
Okay, as they're running, they're just gonna somatically be ritually casting Speak with Animals for when it drops. So they're like singing the song of every herd, where it's like there's a meow here and there's like just all sorts of animal sounds as they're trying to keep up.
Yeah, and you're chasing after Cress, and you're just hearing all these random animal noises coming out ahead.
Finn looks at Penn. My curiosity is quickly shifting into fear.
Running along. Yeah, tell me about it. Who thought we'd be running through the woods chasing after an elf?
Not me! I'm more worried about the fucking spider.
Oh, that thing's harmless.
Finn
Tommy used to carry
hates
it all
Curly.
around. That's true.
Alec loves Curly.
I remember.
Understood.
Cress, eventually Curly brings you up towards kind of the foot of the mountains. right? You're chasing Curly for quite a ways, right? And as you kind of like, as you kind of break the tree line, you can see up ahead of you, there's a large gap, kind of a cave being formed in the mountains, a large cleft, and you can see spider webs kind of caked along the outside. And Curly stops, looks to you, does the same shifting motion towards the opening, and goes, "Bunny, ally, bunny."
I can't tell you this doesn't make sense. So instead... they'll point toward the cave and do the bunny dance to affirm that there's a bunny in there.
Okay. You point to the cave and do the dance. Curly looks towards you. The eyes kind of like one at a time looking towards you, then one at a time looking back towards the cave, orients towards the cave, and does the dance for Bunny.
Okay. And now I'm going to do the dance for Spider, and then point there to see if there are other fucking spiders in there.
This is a new one to the vocabulary. Roll an animal handling check on this one.
Okay.
At advantage, you still have to speak with animals up.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. 16.
With a
Nice.
16.
I have very good animal handling. I rolled a 9.
Ooh.
Holy shit.
That's what,
Yeah,
plus 7?
With a 16, you see Curly kind of look towards you, kind of cock the head, realizes what you're trying to say, turns and goes, "Spider,
Oh no.
bunny,
Oh no.
goop."
Do I get the sense that there are indeed more fucking spiders in there then?
I would say you get that sense.
Shit.
They do a new combo. I'm sorry to take so long, but I just want to understand.
You're good.
They say ally spider, ally spider,
I'm good. Yeah, comboing those together.
ally spider, or no.
Or
Roll another animal handling check. At
Ally
advantage.
spider, or no.
As long as you have your speak
fuck's
with animals. Your
sake.
song of all the herds.
Ally
Song of all her
spider.
19.
No.
19. With the 19, you were able to kind of communicate that idea, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Curly kind of looks back to you and goes, "Ally, spider, bunny, ally, bunny."
You know what? Fuck it. And they turn into a giant spider.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Finn, as you kind of like enter into this space, yourself and Penn now kind of catching up as this dialogue was kind of going on. You appear just as Cress turns into a spider.
If
Cress,
I can ask, yeah, what does this look like?
what does it look like? What do we see?
Sorry, David, I beat
Um,
you to it. I apologize.
That's okay.
So, are you familiar with Howl's Moving Castle?
Yeah.
You know how everything in Howl shifts and then the face is
Mhm.
last? It's sort of that where they have 2 arms, then they have 4 arms, then they have 6. And then there's this kind of spiral into the air, sort of like a magical girl transformation, but terrifying.
Yeah, I was gonna
It
say
is
horrific.
It is emelanastic, just like their skin, so like the white and teal toning of a deep sea fish, and then
Ooh.
tropical speckles. It's very obviously them.
That's amazing.
And then their face just, you see these eyes appear, eye after eye after eye, and they look back as they're doing it like, I'm just gonna make sure it's safe, and then they turn into a spider. Completely. It's big. It's a giant spider.
I think Finn's just like, sounds good, we'll be right here.
Cress, as you now taking off with Curly in towards the cave, right? You're passing the spider webs. I think you get web walker right now, so you're not
Yeah.
any sort of in position as you're making your way
Beep,
through.
beep, dope.
Penn standing there with you, Finn, looks at the cave and goes, "Huh, that's weird."
Why is that weird?
Well, a while back, Granny wanted to expand the burrows, and she had a group of adventurers come in and clear out a bunch of like tunnels and stuff. And I think she started expanding. We called it the underburrows because it was going to go under the tree, under the stump, under the burrows itself.
Just a little
towards
tunnel
here.
system, yeah.
Yeah. That's weird. I wonder what. I wonder if Curly's been trying to tell me something this whole time.
We should go wait by the mouth of it.
Okay. Cress, you follow Curly in, and as you kind of make your way in, you find yourself going through these kind of cramped tunnels. Water has kind of passed through here, right? So you can see that there are caved in sections. It's pretty slick and kind of muddy deeper that you go. And yourself and Curly are just kind of making your way through. As Curly kind of leads you in, how far do you follow?
Till I see a bunny, or
Okay.
an ally, or goop.
Okay. You continue following then for
I
a
have
ways.
3 things that I'm looking for. I want to find
allies,
one
or
of
goop?
them.
You follow Curly into this cavern. As you kind of continue going, eventually you come to a very tight squeeze, right? Roll an acrobatics check to just kind of squeeze through here.
Spider's dead. Spider's dead. Thank fuck. Ooh,
For spider stats.
17.
Okay. Yeah, you come out with a 17. You're successful. You're able to kind of squeeze through this gap, and you come out into a more opened up area. And you can, I'm pretty sure you have dark vision, right?
I think so.
Spider? Use spider's dark vision? Because
Spiders have dark vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Yeah, you can. You
And blind
come out.
sight.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, so you come out into a
Even
very you come out into a more open area. As you kind of like follow in, you can see that the path kind of splits, and the ceiling gets a lot higher. The floor is now this kind of like loose mud, and as you step into this area, you're immediately aware, based on just kind of the sounds, that this is bigger cavern. You've now kind of walked into it. It kind of divides up to either side, and as you're kind of going along, you start seeing sections of ironroot trees kind of protruding through the ground, and you can see that they are covered in kind of this slick red metallic kind of slime and ooze that's kind of clinging to the surface of it, which you recognize as the goop.
Yes. And remind me, the goop itself is like symbiotic with the trees, or is it a parasite and the spiders are important because they eat it?
The latter.
Okay.
It is a parasite. It is parasitic to the trees, and the spiders eat it. Yep.
Ooh, okay. So there's not a lot of goop near the ironwood, which is good for the ironwood, but there is a lot here, which is bad. But the spiders are here.
But the spiders are here, exactly.
Okay.
So there's a neat little system.
All right. Do I see anyone besides Curly?
No, as you kind of end up in this space, these caverns are empty. It's seemingly, as you kind of go forward, Curly kind of like moving along deeper in, you pass a weird kind of like ruined stone basin, right, covered in webs, and you can see there's just like a thin little layer of water just kind of sitting at the bottom. And you see a ruined brazier on the side, and you kind of look around. You can see that this space was possibly once occupied by people. You can see remnants of folks who've been through this cavern before.
How fresh?
Very old. Not looking fresh at all. Looks ancient.
I do the bunny dance again.
You do the bunny dance towards Curly. Curly bunny dances back towards you. And goes, ally, bunny. Kind of
Where?
Moves you towards kind of around the space, past a couple of like stalagmite columns, right? You can see there are, again, now more like rotten wooden crates and barrels, and kind of a giant stone door just ahead, and it looks to be shut. And Curly comes up to the door and scratches, ally. Spider ally, scratching at the door.
There's a spider ally in there, and he wants me to get them out?
Roll an insight check.
15.
He wants you to open the door. With a 15, you can tell he wants you to open the door. And it seems that Curly believes this to be an ally beyond there. Yeah.
I do the bunny dance again, and then point at the door.
Does the spider dance and scratches at the door.
They do the bunny dance, and they start spitting in a direction where they should go. They're like, I don't want a spider ally. I want a bunny.
Yeah, unfortunately.
God damn it, Curly.
Curly kind of continues to kind of just stand in front of the door, pounding, ally.
Try and listen at the door.
Okay. Roll a perception check.
Okay.
At this point, Cress has also been in there kind of a while and looks to you and goes, how long are we waiting for him?
I'm going in now.
Going with you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Fuck.
Okay. That is a 16.
A 16. With a 16, you kind of lean in and you kind of like press into the earth and you're kind of like your spider senses are expanding outwards.
Tingling even? Sorry.
Tingling. Yeah.
Sorry.
Peter Parker style.
No.
It
perfect.
fucking... I could not say it.
That's fair. You become aware that there seem to be living creatures around here. Something beyond the door. But with your 16, you also start to hear a scratching on stone. You start to hear kind of towards, as you're kind of like sitting there looking at the door, there's a pile of debris and like rotten crates and stuff to one side. And you can see that the origin of this scratching seems to be coming from beneath or within these rotted crates and barrels.
One spider leg sticks out and lifts one.
You see a trapdoor unearthed behind these crates, and you hear, as you kind of like move in, continuing to ride your 16 here, as you move in, the scratching gets louder, and you start to hear a possibly a soft sound of muttering, something coming, some sort of. It's difficult to make out the nature of the words, but you hear something coming from down in there as you kind of like are leaning over that door. The wood on this trapdoor is rotted. There are gaps in the door, and you hear the scratching echoing from in there, and as well as that kind of muttering.
Try and peek in.
You
through
peek
the
in.
cracks.
It's a pretty deep little cavern for a ways, and then it kind of turns into like an L. So that's kind of what you get as you kind of look down. There's an old rotted ladder.
There's no one right there.
No, it looks like a tunnel. It looks like the opening to a tunnel.
Okay. And remind me,
Mhm.
are these the Borzor peaks?
These
Where
are
am
the iron. Yeah, so the Iron Hills. The Borazor Peak is one of them.
Gotcha.
Deeper in the range. Yeah. So this is one of the like outer foothills.
And I know that there were gnomes out here. Do I know of any other creatures who might have been out here who are language speakers?
You do. You do. You do recall that there were another group of individuals. There were several, actually.
There were goblins.
There were goblins in this area as well. And you kind of listen in, the tone of the voice as you kind of like lean in closer, trying to get more of a beat on it. You can hear the tone is harsh, but the voice is somewhat higher pitched. You kind of like lean in. Finn and Pen, the two of you making your way through the caverns, you kind of squeeze moving through a gap. Pen kind of just like presses up against the wall and just kind of moves past. Finn, I need a acrobatics check to kind of squeeze through this gap.
15.
With a 15, you do manage to. Your armor your shield kind of presses up. You can hear the stone scraping. Cress, with your passive perception, you can hear down the hall as Finn's shield kind of scrapes on the stone as he kind of. But you do make it through.
Okay.
As you step now into this cavernous space, all of a sudden, Finn, you can kind of like stretch out. You can lift your head up high again. And it is dark in here. It is like pitch black. I think this is a good place for us to take a break while you guys are just kind of nearing into there. As you're about to do some spelunking, maybe.
Spelunking!
As we are now in this strange cave with possible arachnid allies, or who knows. Find out.
Find out. All right, guys.
I don't like it.
Neither do I.
I'm
Guys,
uneasy.
We're going to be back in about 10 minutes. Thank you for chilling for session 1 of our new bi-weekly Sunday campaign, Heroes of Histaeria Unearthed Inheritance. Thank you to Button and for the incredible David for bringing this incredible world to this channel and your incredible skills. Like we're very lucky to have you guys. But we'll be back in about 10. We'll see you guys shortly. Goodbye.
See you soon.
hear you.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. We're back.
We are the back. Okay, so, my friends. Where last we left off, Cress, you were investigating a trap door seemingly leading deeper down in this strange cavern. Finn, yourself and Penn had followed Cress into the cavern, right? Cress, Finn's kind of closing in, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to do a couple of things here. Basically take a few actions or something before he kind of catches up as you're kind of like exploring around.
They are going to... They take in the trapdoor, and then they're going to go back to the door, and now that they're a spider, they're going to call through the door, ally? Ally? Who am I?
Okay, go ahead, roll an animal handling check. I'm going to call this a straight roll. I know you're a spider and everything, but there's a door between you. And these
That's
are
fair.
not super intelligent creatures, sorry.
That's fair. I have a plus... What? I'm so sorry.
You're fine.
17.
17? Okay. With a 17... Okay. With the 17, you make your call, right? Curly sits aside, eagerly watching you as you are kind of making your communication through the door. And you kind of stop after a while and just kind of listen, waiting for some kind of response. And it's very quiet, except for the footsteps of your approaching companions, until eventually you hear one very kind of almost like deep tone, deeper than Curly's, coming from the other side. As you kind of examine that, Finn, yourself and Penn, again, this is a very dark space. Do you Goliaths have dark vision?
Sure don't, baby. But I do
Okay.
have my ghost lantern.
You do have your ghost lantern. So, you ghost lanterning up?
Oh, I got it.
Okay. Okay, awesome. So yeah,
I
you
got it.
ghost lantern up. It's floating at your side, right?
I'm gonna use the innate mage hand ability to have it about 5 feet in front of us, just to sort of
Okay.
light the path ahead.
Sure. Beautiful. Yeah, so it's kind of lighting the path ahead, and as you're kind of going along, you see the path kind of splits, right? As you kind of look down either path, you can see one path has these kind of roots of the ironwood trees, and you can see this kind of slick red kind of slime kind of coating the outer bark of it. And then you can see the other path is slightly wider, right? But there's a good bit of debris. So you have left or right.
I am
Which way?
chittering.
Oh, yes, there is also some... Roll a perception check.
Oh! Perception, not 20, not that, 19 plus 1.
Okay.
I ain't getting lost today, baby.
Yeah, you're not getting lost today. You do hear the chittering coming down the right passageway.
Just a chill goes down his spine. He's like, we're
Yeah,
going to the right, Pen.
all right, if you say so. You're the guy with the light, kind of, walking in just, about a step behind you, letting you take the lead.
Absolutely.
As you're kind of going along this path, you do end up like stepping over, large ironwood roots. Again, you can see sections of it kind of coated in this kind of very viscous, reflective, red hueish slime. And as you're kind of stepping over, you come past before you a ruined stone basin covered in cobwebs. And you can see just the barest hint of water at the bottom of the basin. And then you hear the chittering continuing towards your right. And as you're making your way past, you've passed, again, ruined crates, ruined chests, ruined barrels, rotted structures of whatever people did once inhabit here.
It sets the ambiance incredibly. To be very honest.
I know, right?
Like,
Imagine that's the dirt crunching beneath your feet, right? With your 20, though, as you kind of come forward, your light catches Spider Cress, Curly, the door, right? And Cress, as the lantern light kind of comes into the space, the two of you notice there is a small like humanoid shape just kind of underneath a little overhang in the cave. You just kind of catch the shadow of it as it kind of the light kind of passes across. With your 20, for sure, you notice it, Finn. It looks like it would take a little bit of digging to get it out of there, but you do see something in there.
I think given that, he'll immediately start to like move and try to see if he can unearth it.
Sure. Hey, full credits. Roll an athletics check. To dig it out.
I'm a big buff boy.
While he is digging,
Yes.
can I, because I have an abundance of legs and I know
Yes.
how to write, can I try to write in the dirt, big spider behind door, or just big spider and then an arrow at the door?
Roll a dexterity check. We're gonna call that a straight dexterity check.
I spoke too soon on the athletics as my bread and butter.
It's okay.
12.
It takes a bit.
Yeah.
You get it out. It just takes a while.
Okay.
Oh,
Right.
wait, I'm a spider. I have better dex. I was like, this is not good. It's still not great, but it's an 11.
With an 11, yeah, I would say you can get the words big spiden.
I'll trust
Is
them
what
to
it-
know what that means. They look at it, they kind of shake their head, and then they do the arrow. Like, they just point 2 arms at the door.
He just sort of, another visible chill is understood. Yeah, yep.
They try underneath again to write ally with a question mark. I imagine
Okay.
it's bad.
Yeah, I would say it looks more
Who's
like
Allison?
Yes. So you just have. It looks like Aliso.
Alice, who the fuck is that?
They scratch it out.
They're
Frustrated.
dead.
Finn, in the meantime, while Chris is struggling with arachnid penmanship,
Okay.
you do manage to get this thing out of here, and you pull out a little stone statue. Is what it starts to kind of appear as, and as you kind of like finish getting it out, you can see that there are sections of it kind of coated in the same slime that you've seen. And as you kind of pull it out, you also can see that it has 2 long bunny ears. One, though, did have 2 long bunny ears. One ear is kind of snapped. As this small little statue that you pull out is a small little heron.
Does it look familiar from town?
Looking it over, roll an investigation check.
That is not my bread and... Oh. Investigate.
Investigate.
4.
4. It's hard to tell. It's definitely like coated in dirt and mud. It's hard to make out any sort of features, but it is distinctly heron size and shape.
I'm sorry, Aliso. Your statue deserved better.
There's angry chittering at you.
Pen comes over and looks at it. Cress, roll a nature check.
Nature! It's good. 14 plus stuff. Oh, I'm a druid. I don't have high int. It is an 18.
18. Okay. Well, with an 18, you do recall learning a little bit about some of the, biology in the Irenwud. One thing is that the slime, right? It has been known that in like skin and flesh, it can actually turn things into stone.
I know that.
Yes.
If they see Finn picking that up, then Button didn't know that. Cress knowing that.
Cress heard about it as like you were sitting around the kitchen, the burrows.
Gotcha. Seeing that he's reaching for something or holding something with it, they kind of slap it out of his hand.
Okay. kind of lands in the mud, this stone Harengon statue just before all of you.
Another hand starts trying to wipe the goop off of Finn's hands and like wipe it on the ground.
No. No.
Finn, you get accosted by a spider. You can try to avoid it if you
his
like.
eyes are closed. I think he trusts, given the reverence that everybody around Finn has had for Cress, I think that there's just this inherent trust of whatever their skill set is. So he's just, his eyes are closed. He's almost wincing, just, okay, sure, whatever you have to do, just do it quickly.
They finish, then a spider, like 3 spider arms point at the goop, and then go like this.
Pen, I don't think we're supposed to be touching the goop. Don't touch
It's very
the goop.
odd. You've seen Cress as a humanoid, acting very animalistic, and now you're seeing them as an animal, acting very humanoid.
Yeah. This is whiplash. That's exactly what this is whiplash. Don't touch the goop.
Pen immediately kind of like strikes away from the wall where there is a root where the goop is kind of like coated on the outside of the ironwood bark. So yeah, you have this bunny on this stone bunny statue on the floor before you. You've got a door which may have a large spider behind it, and you've got that tunnel.
Yeah. How big is the stone bunny?
Stone bunny is a bit smaller than Pen.
Oh, just a bit smaller than Pen. Does Pen recognize the bunny?
Pen looking over it, it's hard to tell. Like the petrification definitely, if there was any, it wasn't like a clean, like perfect sculpture, right? There's like kind of sheets and coats, almost like an ooze that kind of goes over it and it solidifies.
God, this sucks. I don't want to unleash some evil force on the Ironwood, but I'm aware that Curly understands that the Ironwood humanoids are his ally. That was something that we communicated the last time we met.
Yeah, that's where he learned the word.
Yeah.
It was in that session. And you had tasked him with protecting the bunnies as well.
Right.
In that.
So I feel like it'd be weird to roll an insight check on an animal this dumb.
Mm-hmm.
But can I? May I?
What are you trying to glean?
If Curly truly thinks that whatever is behind this door is going to help the Ironwood and not fuck it up.
Sure. Okay, yeah. Go ahead, roll your insight check.
Please be nice to me. I want to know things. It wasn't nice to me. It's a total of 9.
Okay. A little bit below average. I will say you have not seen Curly show any type of aggression towards people, so I'm just going to kind of give you some like recollection about what you know, but you're going to make that decision.
Yeah, that's fair.
Never shown any sort of aggression towards people. And when you had kind of done your training with him all those months ago, he was receptive. Mm-hmm. A gentle creature is the impression you left with.
Okay.
Domesticated, really.
God bless it. There's a moment of sorrow as they think about the fact that Tommy is not around. They're going to look at Finn and Pen, and these it's the same eyes, right? There are just 8 of them now. All clearly Cress's eyes. They're going to look at them and then look at the door. Yeah, I think they're human-shaped.
Oh god, that's nightmare-inducing.
Yeah. They look at them, then look at the door, and then I think this is probably gonna go poorly. They're gonna try and open it.
Okay. It looks like it's a giant slab of a stone door, right? But it looks like if you put enough pressure on like one side, it'll turn on a hinge. You can just kind of see the starts of it.
If I see them attempting, can I assist?
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. So one of you can roll at advantage, or you can both roll together. We'll take the average.
You can roll
with advantage. Like big
athletics
boy.
Check then to Finn to push this open.
Oh, that one's cocked. Ooh. Athletics check. 20 on that. 14 plus 6.
Okay. Yeah. So you press into it, and it is a heavy stone slab. Also, as a Goliath, you also have something with this. Like you can move things. Like you have
I have the
build.
giants or the stone endurance. I think is what it's called. You can just
Something that gives you the pulling and pushing power. Of
Yes,
things
correct.
You. So yeah, you guys are able to. It takes a second as you kind of start pushing. It goes as the stones kind of grind against each other. You see perfect. You see like dust kind of like falling down onto you, little flakes of like lichen and moss. And so you were kind of pushing it through. It's going across this kind of stone slab, and it opens on this grating hinge. And eventually you get it wide enough where you guys can kind of fit through. So yeah, it opens up, and as you peer inside, the lantern kind of illuminating the room ahead of you, you see
And
that
eyeballs. Scooby-Doo it.
you see the floor beneath you gets to be a lot more swampy, right? There's like, it looks like it starts to become like water. It goes from like the stone that the doorway is on into kind of mud, and then into kind of like swamp water. And you see spider webs coating every surface of this space before you. And there's this dank kind of metallic taste in the air, which has kind of been present the entire time. But with the ironwood roots, you can get that that's very present. And the ironwood in general, since you've all arrived here, you're used to it now.
Do I see a creature?
Roll a perception check.
Fuck me. 1.
You do not.
Yep.
With a 1, you do not. It's very quiet, like disturbingly quiet in here.
Can I look for a creature?
Yeah.
Sure.
Perception?
Straight roll, yeah, with your
Please
lantern light.
don't fuck.
And your lantern light reaches to the end of the room. Yeah.
17.
With a 17,
Yes.
as you're peering into the room, you see a small little avalanche of just a few stones from like some of the upper caverns, right? And as you it kind of drips into the water, bloop, 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 right? And you kind of look up, you can see there's darkness inside of a little hole in the wall. You stare deeper into it. All these eyes begin to peer back towards you. You can see that there's a creature in there, unmoving, but hidden around. And as you kind of look around, you can see that there are more. You see these strange kind of what appear to almost be like clusters of moss along the ceiling. And as you kind of lean closer, you can just about make out joints of these clutches of spiders, smaller than Curly, kind of bunched together in different pockets of the roof. Spider webs just kind of shielding them. There are, as you look around, I would say over 7 spiders visible.
Okay.
Or at least
I
Finn
don't.
noticed. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say. I don't.
I will kind of point to what I see. I think that the fear is subsiding. There's a bit more focus as they'll just sort of there. Point them out individually to Cress and Curly.
Yeah.
Fade, chitter, ally.
There is a kind of like a more of a rumbling rattle that emerges from the hole in the roof as it kind of like echoes off the stone walls in here, and you hear back hello, as Curly also kind of steps forward and also starts chittering ally. You see a number of spiders and pomerantulas on the ceiling just kind of like shift around, not in an aggressive way, but just kind of as they kind of move. Finn, you are standing in here just watching all of these spiders chitter at each other and start shifting along the roof.
Okay.
Cress, you can tell that there's no aggression here, but they are just kind of curious, right? And you can see that in the hole is where that large echo is kind of coming from, and they seem to kind of just be kind of clustering closer towards that gap.
Okay. Hoping that this spider in the hole is more intelligent than Curly, they're going to ask, how can you help?
see multiple legs emerge from the hole. You see, as it kind of slides into the lantern light, the giant furry face of this Pomerantula. These kind of like shaggy black coats. It's got all this moss and vines and stuff kind of worked into it over time. Comes forward. The tips just before the fangs are coated in are these kind of like grayish kind of fur. As it kind of comes forward, goes, hunt, goop, ally. As you kind of see the rest of the legs and the body kind of emerge. And it's now hanging from the ceiling, looking down towards you all.
It's asking me to do that? Am I getting the sense? It's
More of a
making the same-
statement. More of a statement.
Hunt goop ally. So, can I gather that it has been hunting goop and that this is the place that it's found?
Yeah, go for a nature
Alright.
check.
Okay. 12.
12. You do recall, obviously, feeding Curly the goop. You know that these
Right,
guys
I
eat
know
the
they
goop.
eat it.
Yeah. Yeah. And as you look around this room, there is no goop on any of the roots in here. There are some roots in here, and they are goop free for sure.
Okay.
It kind of steps forward. And it's kind of making its way towards the door. The other spiders kind of circling in behind it as they're now kind of marching up towards you all over the roof. Finn,
Okay.
the ceiling's tall in here, but ain't that tall that you're gonna be bumping heads with spiders very soon, as they're kind of like moving towards, not in an aggressive way, but just towards the doorway.
He just does the tall guy hunch.
There's an apologetic look at Finn. And back to the spiders. Bunny?
As the spiders kind of continue past, you just hear the loud one repeating, "Eat, go," as they make their way through that kind of thing, that passageway, and into the larger cavern as a whole. It's a family of spiders of like what looked originally to be like 7 spiders. As they kind of like move out of the holes, you can see it's upward of like 15, 20 of varying sizes and coat colors. They kind of crawl along the ceiling and make their way out of the chamber that you've just opened. You see as you kind of turn around, Cress, some of the smaller ones make it towards some of the nearby roots that did have some of the goop on it, and just immediately start like licking away at it.
Okay. I think kind of frustrated that this hasn't led to any sort of bunny. They'll just kind of look at Finn and just start talking to him, even though he can't understand. They're like, well, I really thought this might lead to, like, Granny Mal, or maybe one of Finn's family, but no, it hasn't. I think they're just hungry. But it's fine, because they're a big part of the ecosystem. And there's just this chattering at him, and you get, like, frustrated, but just, like, almost, again, like the very humanoid gestures of, like, someone throwing up their hands.
Is he able to, like, garner frustration?
Roll insight. Or animal handling, if you'd like.
I'm gonna do insight. They're the same, but 14?
Yeah, Cress, I don't think it's too hard. And Cress has actually got quite a good bit of practice communicating to humanoids and spiders.
I think
Yep.
he's just sort of like, I'm sorry this is happening. I'm not sure what exactly is happening, but I can tell you're frustrated and I apologize.
Thank you very much. You're saying...
He does go.
No.
Curly blushes.
Oh
No, Curly can't blush. Curly's a spider.
Curly
But,
just kind of
as
goes.
you look around,
His front 2 legs.
as you look around the room, the light's kind of like casting shadows now. Again, you can see more crates and stuff like that. It looks like there is a little passageway that kind of goes past the pool of water. It looks like there's like a little bit of a pocket just kind of around that corner. so you can't quite see the whole room. You can see back for about like 20 feet, and then there's kind of like a turn to the left.
Okay. They look at Curly. Ally? They're gonna keep trying. They don't know what he got them for, if it was just to open the door, or if it was something else.
Curly kind of, stomps and clicks back to you.
That I've said fucking 4 words for the past half an hour. Okay, they go look at around this corner.
Sure. You come around the corner and you can see a little kind of a hollowed out area. And as you kind of look around, you can see that there are more kind of crates and barrels and stuff here. These actually look to be in better condition. These look a little bit more modern, or a little bit better cared for. You can see as you look into this space, there is a tattered kind of like banner kind of towards the back, kind of staked into the ground. And you can see a wooden chest kind of coated in spider webs in the back of the room as well.
May I open it?
Yeah, you can make your spider way over there and kind of click it open. And as you open it, you find a few different things. Okay, you find several gemstones.
Oh!
Right? Find several gemstones of different types and color.
Are any of those a diamond worth 300 gold?
They do not appear to be. None of them appear to be a diamond worth 300 gold. Sorry.
Yeah.
But you also find a scroll kind of bound in with a kind of like a dark ribbon, kind of frayed and aged at the edges. As you make your way through, you also find 2 vials of what appear to be some sort of potions. 2 small elixirs. One vial is actually quite this kind of ornate flask, rounded bottom, right? You can see there's a wax seal at the top, and it's got this deep red. The other one is a longer, kind of thin vial, and within it is some sort of dark liquid, and stoppered with a cork stopper.
Okay.
Words.
Alrighty.
As you handle, and just a quick reminder too, when you handle stuff in this game, right, any sort of magic item, as you come into contact with it, you become aware. As you move around, one of the gems does appear to be magical.
Ooh, magic gem? Magic gem.
Yes, it's this deep, it's this large kind of rough cut amber chunk, and inside has a kind of like a reddish kind of glint to it. Actually, you see in grayscale, you don't see that.
I don't see color.
Yeah.
But I always end up looting as a giant spider. Finn will see them like wrapping up each of these and like sticking it to them because they don't have pockets or anything. They just like.
Yeah. So Finn, if you don't go past the doorway, and kind of delve into the water, you don't actually see them until they kind of come back around with all of this kind of stuff. I will say
he is just sort of following Cress's lead and trailing behind them with the light if at all needed.
Okay, yeah, so you kind of wade into the water, right? It gets about waist high for you, but it's
fucking look.
You kind of move through. It's very dank smelling, very kind of earthy. But yeah, you can see Cress as they kind of pull all that stuff onto them.
Interesting.
Is there the banner like legible? Is there a symbol of any group?
Make an investigation check.
Can I do that as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
10.
Investigation?
Investigation.
Eight.
An 8. Yeah. Unfortunately, as you guys go to kind of handle the banner, it's kind of coated in this kind of in the webbing and stuff like that. But as you kind of go to handle it, it is very fragile, and you can see that it's very rotted. So just the slightest contact, as just kind of you moved into this space and disturbed it, it's disintegrated.
Cool.
Fuck.
So
there's a spider shrug.
Yeah. There's a Goliath shrug. Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to
commiserating now.
Yeah.
Any other identifiers? Do I get the sense that this is what Curly was leading me to?
You probably would get the sense that Curly was leading you to the spiders. This
Gotcha.
is a space in that room.
Okay. So the reference to the bunny then was probably just the stone?
I would say you can probably infer something like that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They go back kind of trying to keep up hope and do like the bunny dance again at Curly.
Okay. You do the bunny dance at Curly, and Curly kind of looks at you. Bunny dances back and moves towards exiting the chamber and stands outside the chamber and repeats, "Bunny." You follow?
Oh, look at Finn. Almost a sigh. Although spiders can't sigh, and then they follow.
Yeah.
He follows.
Yeah. So you find Curly standing near the trap door that you had kind of unearthed and pounding up and down. "Bunny."
Can I point toward the statue that's there?
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, he'll attempt a spider dance.
Do an animal handling check.
I hate this.
Let's see it. Finn.
Fuck. 14 on animal handling.
14's not bad, and I mean you've been watching Cress kind of do it. And Curly's
he's like upward.
yeah,
dance,
and Curly's
upward
somewhat
dance.
familiar with humanoid creatures and stuff, right? Kind of again domesticated animals. He's kind of doing it and kind of bounces back at you, "Bunny."
I think the biggest thing is like he's gonna look at Cress and Curly and then point at the statue, this stone form, and just kind of say, "Bunny."
Curly kind of bounces back in the dance of bunny.
In the affirmative.
"Bunny."
So we can infer that there are a bunch of petrified bunnies down there?
Maybe.
Is that what's being... Okay. I feel like
it's hard to communicate with animals.
Yeah, okay. Can I get through the trapdoor as a spider?
As a spider? It's a pretty narrow fit because you're a giant spider, right? Are you a large creature?
That's a good question. I'm a
I'd say
giant
medium
wolf
creatures.
spider. What are you? It is a medium beast.
Oh, nice.
Then yeah, you can go through.
It's
Medium-sized
just bigger
creatures.
than-
Yeah, bigger than your average spider for sure. Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thought a yogi for some reason.
Yeah. You guys make your way through. Finn, you going down as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Roll an athletics check, Finn, as this ladder is kind of old, rotted. Cress, you can walk on walls, so it's not an issue.
Athletics.
Yes.
25.
25 is great.
Woo!
Yeah, there's even sections where the rung beneath you kind of gives way, right? But you're not, you're kind of like testing them before you kind of go down and kind of shifting your weight carefully and stuff.
I think he's even accommodating like on the stonework and just sort of like lifting himself when needed. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. And you're able to kind of make your way down into this passageway. And as the two of you kind of make your way down to the passageway, it's very narrow, right? So one of you, in terms of a marching order, what would you have?
Me.
Yeah, I think Cress is first, but he's got the lantern as much as he can, like above Cress, just to light the way with the mage hand, if that's possible.
and Cress being a spider, like kind of
I
really
don't
kind of like
need it,
walking in corners.
Well, it's just for me to see ahead as well.
Yeah.
Just to get a vision.
I would say the lantern and Spider Cress can share that square, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. As you kind of like both kind of come down, the lantern kind of lighting up ahead, the two of you see this bright this tunnel just get illuminated. This old stone, right, covered in moss, and the smell down here is very earthy. And as the light kind of travels down, you see suddenly just a flash of this kind of like dingy little humanoid creature at the far end, right? There's a turn of the head and these bright yellow eyes kind of illuminate, right? And kind of turns, and you see them kind of run up a little ladder. Then kind of is at the far end of the tunnel. The tunnel kind of goes down about several feet and then kind of goes back up.
I swear, if they've got bunnies, they chase after.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll run.
Chasing after. Right, yeah. Chasing after it, you find yourself, you go down the tunnel, and then boom, you hit the shaft that kind of leads back up, and you see another ladder kind of going in. the top is sealed away. Whatever, probably closed the door on you.
I hate it.
He's fucking just, if he can, he's just going to push upward with every bits of his physical ability.
Sure.
I think he's doing the Van Damme like legs on the side to keep himself up as he's just.
Can I assist?
Absolutely.
Please.
Absolutely. Because Cress is technically ahead. So yeah, Cress is kind of like fitted in, right? And then you're kind of underneath, just kind of also kind of pushing up against it. Yeah.
Okay.
So go ahead, roll athletics at advantage.
Athletics at advantage. Please don't fuck me. 20 on that. 14 plus 6.
Okay, yeah. You kind of push against it, and you can hear the stone kind of grating. You can tell that it seems to, the trapdoor seems to have been weighted down by something. As you guys are pushing, you hear, and as you push forward, you see this large kind of stone that kind of tips over on the side as the wooden door flies open. And you guys find yourself now in another cavern, another section of the cavern. Ahead of you, with your light and everything, you see another stone bunny shape just on the other side.
No humanoids, nothing else.
Roll a perception.
Oh.
10.
I
rolled a 3.
Wait, I want to make sure my perception is +2 and not +1. Perception. It is +1, so 18.
18? Okay, Cress, you are immediately kind of like taken in by this strange bunny shape, again, smaller than Pen, coated in some of that goop, right? And as you're kind of taking that in, Finn, you kind of step out, look around, and you just catch a glimpse through the shadows of a creature kind of making its way deeper into the cavern. And you can hear the scurrying of the legs, and you look back, you see those 2 yellow glowing eyes again. And you hear a voice call out, "What do you want?" And kind of makes their way back.
We're here looking for... Who are you?
Wants to know who we are. Easy, children. It's okay. I will look after you. Easy.
Okay. I climb up onto the ceiling and I start heading in that direction.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
The ceiling in here is a bit taller too.
I think at this point, shield is up, sword is drawn.
Okay. All right. Along the ceiling, Cress, you're making your way. Finn, you're kind of going along deeper in. Pen right behind you, going like, "What the is happening?"
Just keep your wits about you, friend.
Draws a rapier and is kind of at the ready, seeing you draw your weapons. You're about 5 feet ahead. You see there is another pool of water up ahead of you, Finn. Cress, it's not an issue for you. You can kind of scurry along the walls. Finn, as you kind of continue, you kind of wade into the water.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. As you kind of step in, kind of swashing, I need you to roll a dexterity saving throw at disadvantage, please.
What if I didn't? David? What if I said no?
Things would be different. You'd...
Dexterity saving throw at disadvantage?
Yes, please.
It's a 3, but it is a natural 1.
Yeah,
Oh,
unfortunately, you step forward and all of a sudden you just feel something clamp down upon your left ankle. And you feel these teeth bite into the muscle. And it's rooting you in place. I need a athletics check as you are currently restrained if you want to continue forward. Cress, you become aware of the struggle in the water as Finn is caught. You become aware of that.
Athletics check is a 12.
Okay, 12. Yeah, as you kind of pull forward, you can kind of feel it kind of like hanging onto your legs, reaching in under the water. You kind of feel around, and you find that it is actually a bear trap.
Fuck.
That was kind of laid out under the water. And you kind of, with your 12, you start working on to kind of crank it back open.
Yeah, he'll look back toward Pen. Watch their back. I'll get myself out of this.
I can't fucking help. I got nothing. They will make it so that they are directly overhead. How tall is the cavern? Because they
cavern's about 20 feet tall.
20 feet tall. Okay, they'd be above him, and they would be scoping out while he's unstucking himself
Sure.
They want to see who they're dealing with.
Okay.
I've got blind sight for 10 feet and dark vision for 60.
Okay. Also, real quick, Finn, you take 3 piercing damage.
Owie! Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Cress, roll a perception check.
3 points?
So you're looking out over. Yeah.
Got it.
You said your vision was what again, Cress, for me? 60?
Yeah. Well, I'm bad at math. 9 plus 7. 16.
Okay, with a 16, you can see that the room is not much bigger. It looks to be about just another 25 feet. With a 16, you can see there are other stone bunny statues of varying sizes. You can see the goop kind of coated on them, creating these kind of like sticky lengths, attaching them to other bunnies, right? And it seems like there are several bunny statues in this room. You also see these 3 large stones that appear to have these kind of runic markings on them. And with your 16, you also see as a little goblinoid creature peers out from around the stone and raises a crossbow at you and goes, "Don't come any closer!"
They stop moving. They give 2 arms, like 6 arms are still on the wall, and then 2 just go like this.
Hanging upside down.
Yeah.
Incredible.
He's like, "So you
What?
got out. So you little bastards got out, did you?"
For fuck's sake.
For fuck's sake.
Doesn't speak spider as you look at
No, I know.
That's just incredibly
just-
funny.
They're trying to be as humanoid as possible.
Yeah.
Sure. Roll a persuasion check.
Great. That was almost good, but it was bad.
No.
It's an 8.
Yeah, with an 8, creature also rolled very poorly on their insight check as they're looking at you. Kind of hoists the crossbow up to the shoulder and
Well.
pulls the trigger.
Yep.
Well.
Get back!
Oh,
Don't know how you got out, but I'll get you back in there.
Is that
That should be a
initiative,
miss,
David?
though. That's a really bad roll. Yeah, absolutely.
see.
If you guys
Oh.
want to go into initiative, we absolutely can. But he's
Yeah,
taking this
we
shot,
can do that.
and it's a wide miss.
Okay. Yay. Oh shit. Oh, and I have advantage. I have been in so many fights as Cress where I have advantage on my initiative, but I'll roll like a 2 and a 3. But today I rolled well.
I rolled a 5. 7.
So let's see, Cress, what'd you get?
16.
Okay.
Oh, hell yeah.
Good for me.
Get a big.
Wait, I'm a spider.
Oh, you got that spider dex.
19.
Oh, 19.
Hey. Get it.
Yeah.
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 What the fuck?
And
Please knock it off.
What the fuck? Why?
Why? I don't need this shit right now today.
All right.
Listen.
So, Cress, you are up
Listen.
first.
Okay. I hate this. How far away is he?
About 15 feet away.
Alright. Well, I'm really sorry, little buddy. I'm gonna scuttle up to him.
Okay.
Science spider. And I would like to, oh, I forgot I can't do this. That's the giant spider, not the giant wolf spider. Never mind. I can't wrap him up. In that case, tell you what, I'm very aware that right now, I really don't want to kill him.
You can always declare non-lethal.
That's okay. That being the case, I will scuttle up to him.
Always declare non-lethal. Yeah.
Thank you. I deeply appreciate it. I forgot. There are campaigns where that hasn't necessarily been the case, and I forgot.
No.
I will then go up and do a bite attack, and with it being non-lethal, I think they'll, if they can, negate the poison. Like, they won't activate that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very
Absolutely.
cool.
Yeah, totally.
Yeet!
Yay!
I probably miss. 12.
That's a hit.
Hey!
As you drop down and you go to make your bite, you can see this creature's not wearing armor.
I rolled max damage, so that's 7 piercing.
Okay, and how do you take him out?
Oh no!
Get it!
He goes to shoot Cress with a crossbow, misses, and again this very humanoid like finger wags at him, and then they scuttle up. And rather than just like a full-on bite, their teeth just kind of like knock into his head to kind of like almost pistol whip him.
Just a
Oh,
bonk.
yeah,
Just
absolutely.
a full spider
you
bonk.
drop down, boom,
Yeah.
head spider bonk him, and he just kind of like flies back, lands in the mud.
That's fucking
and
incredible.
Just kind of unconscious.
Okay.
So I mean, that was your hostile on the field. So we can go out of initiative.
Okay. I feel bad.
No, Cress, as you're this close, go ahead, roll an investigation or perception, your choice.
I'm gonna do perception because I'm a druid. I rolled a natural 1.
Can I give them my inspiration?
I have inspiration.
You have
I
inspiration,
can do
yeah.
mine. I'll
Yeah.
use mine. And that's a 19 plus 7.
Hey!
You look down and you recognize this goblin. You see that the clothes are, again, not armor, but in fact a little, looks like maybe once a dress. And it's covered in mud and
It's
caked in
Gick.
dirt.
Oh, fuck.
It's Gick.
You see the crossbow. Yes, it is Gick, who's on the floor, unconscious, crossbow at the feet, just kind of snoring after
Oh,
the
well.
knockout.
Fuck me. Okay. They're gonna kind of gesture to Finn. They can't do fucking sign language, but they want to bring Gick.
Okay.
Actually, better yet, we're communicating for now. They drop out of Spider.
Sure.
Say, I know this goblin.
Goblin?
Yes, his name's Gick. He might have some answers.
I know Gick.
You know Gick?
You do know Gick.
How do you know Gick?
I met Gick when Penn introduced me to everyone. They're everyone.
Understood. And Gick was living with them, right?
Yes.
And steps forward and goes, yeah, Gick was with them the night that they were gone. Gick, when I left with you, I left Gick in charge of them.
Penn, let's get you out of here.
No, wait. There are all of these petrified rabbits here. Maybe he protected them. I don't know. Maybe this is them. You can... Actually, that would be meta-knowledge. David, do I know if it is possible to unpetrify someone?
Roll a nature check. Because you've explored quite a bit. You've encountered different creatures.
16.
16. So back when you and your previous acquaintances would go into places like the Whispering Jungle on safaris and stuff like that, you would come across creatures like basilisks who had the ability to turn things into stone and petrify stuff. So it is a condition that you've seen before. Looks a bit different here, right? But you do know that it is possible to turn them back. Basilisk,
Cockatrice.
bile, yeah. Cockatrice has the ability. Yeah, you've heard of those, and then basilisk bile, you do know can revert petrification.
Okay. Maybe he saved them.
As you guys explore this room, kind of taking it all in, investigation checks, either one of you at advantage, or you can both roll together.
I do have a plus to my intelligence.
I have a +1 to my intelligence.
I have a +2.
I'm going to give you advantage.
Okay.
For it.
Oh, 18. That's a questioning 20.
Okay. Looking in this space, you find about 10 bunny statues of varying sizes, kind of scattered throughout the room. All of them kind of have this goop on them, but they are all tucked away. And as you investigate, you can see remnants and tracks of where Gik would have been coming up around them and checking on them.
Oh.
Finn, go.
Okay.
I think Finn. Should I get the one that's down there?
Yeah, I can. It's gonna be a little weird, but I can carry the rest of them.
I can too. He goes to walk. He's still in a bear trap.
Yeah.
No. You would have taken your time to get out.
Oh,
of it,
okay.
like-
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry. You're out of it.
So
After
I'm
combat,
gonna-
I'm assuming you worked your way out of it.
Oh yeah, that was It just never got around to my turn.
exactly.
So Cress fucking one hit spider bonk KO in the best way possible.
Poor Gik.
Poor Gig.
Okay, so you're a little bonked. They're gonna.
I just took 3. It's not.
Do you
It's
want me to fix that?
it's not a huge obligation, but if you'd like to, I wouldn't say no.
All right. They cast Cure Wounds, and it automatically puts you up to full.
I'll have to pay you back with. You like tattoos?
As he says that, he sees the tattoos that are like roiling and moving across their body.
Yeah.
These are recent. And I'm kind of worried that if I add it to them, they might get mad. But I'm not sure about that, so I might take you up on it. We'll have to see.
Mine.
You've never seen moving tattoos before.
Yeah, he's interesting. Well, mine can give a little bit of a buff in some instances, depending on what I tattoo there.
That is very tempting.
Take your time, think about it. It's a long commitment. He starts walking down, sort of drops. I think he just kind of takes a sword and the shield and just kind of scales down the side of the rock.
Yeah, you kind of get into this kind of like little like cavern where several of the bunnies are kind of like, put together.
He picks up the couple, adding them up, seeing what they saw upstairs. Is this 12?
This works out to be 11, actually.
Okay.
So this counting the one upstairs. So there's 10 in here plus the one out there.
Okay,
for a
correct.
total of 11.
Got it.
Being around, roll a quick history check.
Do I have advantage on history checks?
I'll give you advantage on this one.
Oh no,
So-
I have proficiency.
Yeah, I'll give you advantage on this one.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because
Doesn't
this
make
would have been
sense.
something we kind of covered in backstory.
Oh,
this would be
sure.
information you gained off screen.
I'm gonna use my inspiration because I was a natural 1 and a 3.
Wow, dude. dice hate
You dick. It's a 5. 7.
Yeah. Unfortunately, with a 7.
Bye, inspiration. It was nice to see you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Unfortunately, with a 7, you count the 11 that are there.
I think he's unfortunately more focused on thinking about where the 12th could be.
To that end,
Mhm.
they are going to, having this realization come through, they're gonna take Gik's crossbow, put it
Mhm.
over there just in case, and then they're going to cast Cure Wounds on him also, giving
Pretty sure
him...
you're gonna full heal him.
Right, it seems like it.
Yeah.
Giving him 7 hit points. Gik?
Kind of starts.
Hear me?
Looks at you a little closer. Yeah, I remember you. Where are the children? Kind of rolls up and starts
We're getting them. Pen's here.
looks over at Penn as Penn kind of steps forward. Hey, Gik. How's it going? Penn! They're fine. Look, I have them all. Kind of brings the group of you towards and kind of starts bringing them together. See? I told you. Safe and sound.
Bless you.
Got them out just in time, but those damn spiders started chasing us down. When the water was coming in, I figured there was one way I could keep them alive, keep them from drowning, you know? So I had the bright idea. Let the goop do it. But then those damn spiders started to come around. So I trapped him in that one room. I trapped him in a room, and then just been taking care of him down here. Aren't you proud, Pen? See? They're safe. And Pen's very mixed. They're alive?
We can figure this out. I know that Sage Elda is very powerful.
You think she can make them again?
I'm hoping. Have I ever heard? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go
Have
ahead.
I ever heard of like greater restoration? Because I've recently cast lesser to.
Yeah, you're aware of like powerful magics like that. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, Pen looks over to Gik and goes, "Good job, Gik. Let's get him out of here, guys."
Yeah. They gently clap Gik on the shoulder. You did a really lovely thing here.
Well, they were good to me. Figured, could let him go out that way.
Just remembering their first meeting with the Cataphract Legion and the goblins who were attacking gnomes, seeing this like turnaround, I think an actual shred of hope kind of emerges, and there's just this glimmer of gratitude in their eye as they start gathering up bunnies. So, I can do a weird thing where I can carry them all inside of me if I am an animal.
Pen shocked.
Yeah.
What?
I know, it's weird. But I have done this before.
Save us a lot of time.
Yeah.
This place
if
gives
we-
me the creeps.
It gives me the creeps too.
If
If we
I-
gather them all up. Sorry.
No, if I'm correct, Finn's still making his way up with.
Yeah, like you're like carrying them up.
Yeah.
And I would say you've got them all lined up. Like it takes a little bit of time while we're kind of working through stuff here.
I was going to say, yeah,
absolutely.
it's easy enough to see that, like, given the dream he had this morning,
Mhm.
the opportunity to actually sort of, with the help of this new person to him that is so much respect from the people around Finn, people that he respects, he sort of envisions like both of their arms around them, just sort of huddling them in, and I think it's easy to see that Finn is quite touched and emotional by this, like the same hope shared.
Yeah.
It'll be okay. Gik, there are 11 to my count.
And looks up and goes, "Yeah. The other two left a long time ago. Our cousins, Jackrabbit and Raleigh. So
I'm sorry.
that's all right. I hope they're alive. They're tough sons of bitches, but they're not here.
And that's
So-
something. I will turn into a giant ape and hold all of the little stone bunnies in my tummy.
I got bunnies
Yeah.
in my tummy.
It's gonna be weird. I'm sorry.
You got a few bunnies, you get them all kind of scooped up, and as you're kind of like loading them up, Pen's kind of, just kind of looking around over them and petting them, just looking at Gik like, "Can't believe you did this. This is... Gik, you have no idea." Well, if I'm gonna do a job, might as well do it right. And the group of you make your way out of the caverns, back towards the Ironwood. Penn eventually leads you guys up to the ingot. Cress, you can keep your animal shape, and with Finn's help, you guys are able to kind of get back to the Ironwood and get them back to the ingot, into the caverns down there, and to kind of set them down. And they're waiting to see if they will be cured of their petrification. But the 11 bunnies have been recovered from the underburrows. The grandchildren of Mal Smith secured.
I think once they get them there, they'll obviously unwild shape, and they'll leave Penn to have that conversation with Sage Elda.
Mm-hmm.
They'll look up at Finn. Do you want to maybe grab a bite to eat, Fine Cuthbert?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Let's give them the time they need to do what they have to do. Yeah.
They will also, while they're here, take out where'd it go? I'm so sorry.
You're good.
Take out a malachite that they had found in the Whispering Jungle. They'll hand it to Gick and say, so, I met some other members of the heirs of Dalmson. They weren't necessarily friendly, but we saved them. I just thought you'd want to know. And I don't have a lot, but I wanted to give you something for taking care of those kids. They'll hand it to you.
Takes the malachite, looks it over in his hand, and goes, yeah, they're good kids. Things haven't been easy since you got me down here, got me away from the Legion, but aside from, the occasional prank, not that I'm not totally unfamiliar with growing up in Muldan, but they're good kids. The old lady with you?
No. But I'm gonna try and get her.
Well, I hope you succeed. I'd like to see her again, but don't tell her about the dress. Looks down at the very grimy, ruined outerwear. So Penn and Elda sit around looking at the bunnies, Gick kind of joining them. The two of you depart, heading deeper into town. You're able to find places to, grab a drink, grab a bite to eat as you kind of make your way around. Finn, people are very welcoming to you as the two of you kind of settle in. In fact, one such person that you see comes up towards you is a tall Leonin, golden mane, kind of like draping over the shoulders, and the two of you recognize Zion Fullrest, the leather worker. And he kind of approaches you and he goes, I'd heard you'd come back to town.
Hello, Zion. They'll shake his hand.
Kind of shakes your hand back. I was hoping that saddle would keep you all safe. Where are your friends?
Pam is taking care of some family business, and I'm gonna be getting Granny.
Well, I just might have something for you. And
is that right?
Yeah. Well, after everything, came across a bunch of different creatures that had washed up from the sea, and was able to do a little bit of salvage work. Shark leather. It's quite something.
Yeah, it is.
Leads you over to his workshop, and kind of pulls a tarp aside and goes, "Wasn't sure if I'd see you again, but I did throw this together. And old Umi, little Umi, just helped me out, put an enchantment on it for me." As he reveals a shark skin saddle, fitted more to your size, Cress, and the dimensions of Cuthbert. And as you rest your hands upon it, feeling kind of the familiar scale of, sea creatures underneath your hands, you do feel a sense of magic emanating from it.
I think, given that traveling here, they saw the Sandsea for the first time, the ocean's completely drained. Nothing remaining but this white, glittering expanse. Seeing this remnant of something that is gone, I think tears kind of well up. They take that bit of cloak that Finn gave them. They're like, "Thank you very much, Zion. What do I owe you?"
Nothing. It was fun to work on. I don't get to make things for dragons all that often, so consider it a favor and a thank you. Heard rumor that you all came back with a bunch of the Heron Gone kids. Where it travels fast. Take it as a thank you from all of us.
That's incredibly generous. Thank you.
Go
Do
ahead.
they see Cuth anywhere? I'm so sorry.
No, they're fine. Yeah, Cuthbert, I mean, you tell me
It's hard
Cuthbert could either have gone hunting or, kind of hanging out. People are kind of coming up and if he is hanging out in the Ironwood, people are kind of coming up and putting food down and stuff in front of him. He's kind of taking it all in. Most are giving him a fairly wide berth, but seeing as he's not doing anything, he definitely garners a lot of attention.
That makes all the sense. Think. Do you want to help me put this on him?
Still weepy. I think he sees the sentimentality there. He's like, "Yeah, sure, I'd love to. Yeah, absolutely."
Thank you, Zion.
Of course.
Tell Umi thank me. Is Umi here or is she at the tower?
She's down at the tower. Over in the lower levels.
Oh shit, there are so many towers now. These towers?
Yes.
She had her own tower once.
Yeah, she
Gotcha.
did. Don't worry. It somehow managed to make it through. They did good work when they built it.
I can also take you there if needed.
Yep.
These spires get a bit confusing to new eyes.
I appreciate that. I think for now I just wanna. This is wonderful that there's something for Cuthbert. I feel like he deserves it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Cress, go ahead and add the Saddle of the Cavalier to your inventory.
Ooh.
What's that? I'm coming.
I'm coming.
What's this?
What happened?
So, the two of you, after getting Cuthbert all saddled up, it's getting fairly late in the day now. Cress, fatigue starting to set in, the emotions of the day and all of that. And Finn, while it's only been about half a day's for you, you do still have your watch left to do.
Yeah.
So, I'd say the two of you I'll leave the two of you, you can go get a bite to eat, decompress from the day.
Yeah.
Right?
I think what they will offer, if they see, is Finn looking toward the watchtowers?
I think he is just kind of glancing at it and you'd see him glance and nod I still have to make my way there. But
I can actually make food pretty easily. If you want to head there now, I can head there with you. We can sleep on the guard towers. It doesn't look like there's a lot of space to go around here.
Yeah, I'd be happy to have you alongside. Plus, I'd like to past the spiders and the goop, I'd love to just have a conversation, get to know you a bit. I can already see why everybody here is so taken aback by you.
They're not taken aback by me, but I can see why they respect you so much. You just ran in there. You've clearly been taking care of everyone. It's appreciated.
Done my best. Hasn't always worked out, but I imagine you understand that weight.
It never does.
We still have to try, right?
Yes. Yes, we do.
Well, I will take you to my humble watchtower.
All right.
Sort of walks forward. What's name's Cuthbert.
You make your
Yeah, this is Cuthbert. I think you've had a lot of names, huh, bud? He's Cuthbert now, though.
Beautiful.
Hear that? He thinks you're pretty.
kind of like stretches up, right? Curls the neck into like this proud S shape, and you can see kind of sporting the saddle a little bit too. Kind of pulling the wings back so you get a good view of it.
Yeah, definitely. You two are a wonderful pair.
So you, how long have you been here? I didn't see you. I was here back in March.
When did I get here? Probably right after that, right?
You arrived in like late January, early February. But you were on missions a lot of the time. Like as you guys got back, Elda had you kind of like escorting Ironborn Rangers on reconnaissance missions. You sailed with Penn to Azafas, all sorts of things.
Well, I've been here since about January, but Elda had me in and out. The Rangers with Penn. Been to Azafas a few times. Different reconnaissance things.
You've been to Azafast. New Azafast.
New Azafas? Is that correct?
Just Azafas at the moment.
Just
as far as you
Azafas.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a later thing. But we can get back to that. But it's just Azafas for the moment.
Got it. But so makes sense that we would have missed paths up until this point.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Above game, David, Luna had referred to the city as New Azofast.
I am not sure, but if so, it'd be a bit of an error. So New Azafast was back when we had kind of discussed the campaign being starting at a later date.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Because I had thought.
Azafast, yeah.
Okay. Is it the case? Because I remember this from session 0, but it's not recorded. That New Azofast had been siphoning people out of the city, like they were only keeping a percentage of people.
Yes, yeah, they were committed. They were only keeping those they deemed like worthy of protecting. So anybody else that they felt would have been a drain on their society or whatever were kind of cast out. A lot of them were refugees coming to the Irenwud in that regard. As a result, because Irenwud was at least a place that was welcoming of refugees.
Would that be like the details of some of the treks he's gone on, bringing people back to the bringing people back to the Ironwood from Azafast?
Yep.
Yeah, what's it like there?
David?
Very militaristic rule. The leading group was basically just kind of deciding who was essential, who was non-essential, and anyone deemed non-essential was just brought outside this strange kind of wall that they built to kind of separate the center section of the city, right? And you needed to have a particular credentials to be on that side of the wall.
He'll sort of scoff under his breath. Prickly, uptight, a bit elitist.
I think more than a bit elitist, it sounds like.
If they don't think you're worthy of their time, they turn you away or kick you out.
Yeah.
It's quite shit, given the world we're living in.
It sounds like they're trying to build a utopia.
Can't wait to.
Me too.
I knew I liked you already, Cress.
I like you too.
But I imagine at this point they've gotten to the watchtower and he's
Oh,
just
yeah.
sort of setting up and just kind of... I think he puts his, like, sleeping stuff in front of them if you need it. I'm going to be watching,
appreciate
so
it.
there's a nice comfy mat for you right there.
They smile in appreciation as Cuthbert curls up, I imagine.
Yeah. So Cuthbert kind of like, well, this watchtower is pretty. It's not super big, so Cuthbert kind of hangs outside, but it's just at the base of the tower.
Yeah.
You can hear the breathing as he kind of rests and settles in. He'd had a long day already, but just flying over. It's been a few days of flying for him. And as you guys kind of like settle in, a few like the Ironborn Rangers who were there, as you kind of come in and you're taking over watch, they're like, Finn, have a good night.
Yeah, you as well. Thank you for your service.
Quiet.
Good.
Thank you.
That's good. Of course.
And I think what they will do is use their Royal Bestiary Seeker feat to create just food that is also healy. Not that you need it anymore, but they will create over the course of a short rest food for everyone there, Cuthbert included. If there are other people watching, they can do 6.
Sure. Yeah. I think that a few people will take you up on that offer, as many as you're willing to offer.
Yes. So 3 for us and then 3 for whoever is remaining. But there are these...
Rangers.
Yeah. They heal folks. They give... Oh, no! Oh, yeah, it's regaining hit points. So if anyone's down hit points, they regain 5 hit points. And it also is just sustaining. But I think they'll just sit and make that and talk with Finn. They're definitely curious. Why did you promise to go to Damaril?
I think there's just this... Because they asked me to. They needed someone to go, and I was more than willing to do it. People of the Ironwood have only put me up. I just aim to do the same. Help them any way I can.
Maybe a better question then is, why did they ask you to go?
If I remember correctly, it was to begin looking for Granny Smith.
No, actually.
Okay.
What happened was they had seen sea creatures.
I guess.
Kind of like washing on shore. They seemed corrupted and dying.
Got it.
Sick. And there were frequent reports of the sea turning black.
Okay, yes. They were corrupted, sick sea creatures washing up in the shores of Damaril. And the reports of a black sea. So we were... Go ahead.
No, you.
It was Penn, Captain, few of us went to make a trek, and that's when it happened.
I imagine you are referring to what people are calling the last wave.
Fitting title for that nightmare, yeah. Lost the captain.
Which captain?
Jakar?
Shadin.
Yeah.
Jagar's the Minotaur.
Thank you.
Oh, you're good. You're golden.
Captain Shadin. I tried to grab him. He had slipped off the edge of the ship, and...
You're not at fault for anyone's death. Is Serena alive?
She is, correct? Yes, she is. Yes.
She here?
Yeah.
And the water drake.
Water Drake is fine.
The ship.
Yeah.
Yes. In fact, the water drake. Roll a history.
Ooh. 19.
Oh, really good. So I'll say you're intimately aware. The water drake is up and running. She was repaired in the interim. And the Neblin sisters, 2 gnomish shipwrights, had made a dock specifically for her. And she actually goes on a lot of scouting trips and salvage trips from that port.
It's been fixed.
Serena as the captain.
Yeah, Serena's captain in that vessel. A lot of scouting, a lot of scavenging. Few gnomish lasses. Made a port just for her.
Yeah, I think I know the ones.
She's doing well.
She is.
Yeah. She takes after her old man. That way.
Well, if you are going to Damaril, I think it's only fair that I tell you what I expect to find there.
My ears are open.
There's the Illithid. The ones that I told you about.
He does the tentacles.
Yeah, that. Maybe more concerning the psionic abilities they seem to exhibit and their connection to the moon that apparently took all of the planet's water.
Wow.
But that isn't all.
Okay.
I anticipate that on May 30th, possibly a bit before, because heaven knows those men like to plan, there may be a sea elf contingent there. One that might not be very friendly to me.
Good to know. Well.
But I don't want to hurt them, and I want to make sure that they're okay and that they don't get taken in by these Illithid.
So, if I'm correct, we're looking out for Illithid. We're looking to aid and sort of circumvent the Sea Elf group and find Granny Smith.
Mal. Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of fun to me.
Does it?
No.
No.
But it doesn't sound like a challenge I'm unwilling to take. For Shadin, for Pen, for everything that this place has lost, it deserves people like you and people like myself to move forward in spite of the shit that's happening in this world. Something that happened today, finding those kids. That's the light I look to. And that's what I'm moving forward with. So if there's a way to help bring a little bit more light back to the Ironwood with getting Granny Smith back here, I will implore Sage Elda to let me go with you.
I deeply appreciate it. I think this place is definitely the better because of you, and I too would like to be around to rebuild.
Well, looks like we're in the same line of business, Cress. So.
They extend a hand to Finn. To rebuilding.
To rebuilding. Shakes. Let me know if you want that tattoo, by the way. The offer stands as long as you think about it.
Color me curious. Tell me. They'll like. We don't have to role play it per se, but they'll do a deep dive into like We can if you want to.
I'm-
I just don't
I'm
want to
happy
make you
to.
list mechanics.
I'm happy to. He sort of.
What do they do?
So I can just give you some sort of natural bonuses to abilities you might already have. Just some magical fixings to boost in times of need. They grow with
Magical
you as well.
fixings. That's interesting.
He sort of unfolds his tattoo kit. You see these series of runes, 2 of which, right, David? I have 2 runes that I can inscribe.
You do.
These are the ones I'm most comfortable tattooing. And they're, if I'm correct, it is the Nyok Ping rune.
Mm-hmm.
And then the was it the shit, I don't remember the other one.
Is the Gebu.
Gebu, okay.
I think that's how you say that.
Yeah,
Gebu.
so just explaining mechanics, benefit for the Gebu rune, you have advantage on intelligence checks to estimate an item's value. You can spend a minute carefully examining an item while tracing Gebu on it. You learn the item's name and magical properties, as if you had cast the Identify spell. Alternatively, if you use an action to trace Gebu on a willing creature, the creature gains the effects of the Sanctuary spell. The effects last while you concentrate for up to a minute. And then at 8th level, you can get the ability to inscribe this rune on a space. For up to a minute thereafter, you can activate the rune with a command word, provided you are within 20 feet of it. When you do so, each creature within 20 feet of the rune with a clear line of sight to it must make a charisma saving throw. On a failed save, creature is affected by the Calm Emotion spell. And then,
That I imagine is not a tattoo, correct? That last bit?
I think the way we talked about it is that you would get this at that 8th level, correct?
Yes.
If the tattoo is inscribed.
it's you as inscriber can present that effect.
Correct. Okay, got it.
So like it depends on your power level. So like right now,
I gotcha.
you only have the benefit and the 1 power. You don't have the mastery power yet.
Yeah. And then with Ping, you get proficiency in wisdom survival checks. And then once etched on the ground, you notice 6 creatures of your choice regain hit points equal to 2d8 plus your wisdom modifier. You must be able to see the creatures.
But that's a 5th level then.
That's 5th level, so that's the next level that would be able to give. Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, color me curious. Maybe I'll think about what I should add to these, and they'll look at the tattoos that are just still skittering and spiraling around them.
As you look, Cress, at your left hand, though, you do find that you're staring again at that deep black spot. And as Cress holds up the hand, Finn, you also see in their palm is almost a perfect circle. And right where the palm lines would be is a scintillating red.
Does it look familiar at all?
As you guys, probably no. It
That
wouldn't
makes
look
sense.
familiar to you. But as the tattoos that Cress already has move about the body, you can see that like the canaries and all the other creatures like take a wide berth around it.
Take your time.
That's what you see.
Thank you.
Sure.
Well, I suppose I should get to letting Cuthbert sleep, and I only trains for 4 hours. If you need assistance after that.
Sure. I'll let you know. Just take your time to rest. Thank you again for all your help with Gick and with Penslaw.
Thank you for taking care of everyone here.
Not everyone, just everyone I can.
There is no taking care of every single person.
I know. Unfortunately, I'm going to try my best anyway, but get sleep. It's been a long journey for you, I imagine.
All right. So, Finn, you stand atop the watchtower, keeping a vigil eye out along the horizon, looking over the destroyed, ruined realm of the Irenwud. Cress, yourself, and Cuthbert find a small section within the camp, just near the base of the watchtower, where Cuthbert can kind of curl up, and you kind of sitting crisscross applesauce, I believe, is your usual. Yeah. In the curl of this golden drake, who kind of wraps the head and tail around you. My friends, I think with that, we are going to end our first session together as you guys begin your trance and your rest and your vigil. Nice job, guys.
We didn't die!
We didn't die.
Nobody died. Session 1, 100% survival rate.
In the book.
Wow.
Hell yeah. Guys.
David,
Yeah.
thank you.
First off, huge
Thank
round of
you
applause
guys.
and
You
thank you
guys
to
killed it. Very
David
good
for
job.
bringing his world of Histaeria and this campaign to twitch.tv/CommuneDM. We are forever grateful. And guys, be sure to go check out Heroes of Histaeria Sandsea Saga, which is the sister campaign that is running concurrently with this one. Link is in chat. It is an incredible journey, and we are forever grateful for David for bringing this on here and being our first D&D stream back since May. So thank you very much.
Hope you guys liked it.
And David, where can people find you?
Let's see. People can find me probably either DMing here, of course, every other week. Otherwise, you can also check me out over on YouTube at the Delta Cryptid Productions channel, where, as we mentioned, I DM the fantastic Sandsea campaign. And the other place you can find me is going to be on Instagram with the Heroes of Histaeria Instagram tag at Heroes of Histaeria. Yeah, so we'll check that out. Yes, we will have maps. We will have stuff. Yeah, that's me.
Amazing. Button, where can people find you?
I'm Button. I am Bluebluebutton on the internet. That's where you can find me. I also play in the upcoming campaign, No Realms to Lash, that starts a week from today, and I'm very excited. You can catch Cress for a little bit on Sandsea Saga. I think a couple more sessions will come out that still contain Cress. And you can catch me in the upcoming podcast co-hosting Table Talk RPG.
Yeah, baby, we got a podcast.
Hell yeah.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Alec. My pronouns are he, him. You can find me all places on the internet as CommuneDM, at CommuneDM. Jesus Christ. I do all sorts of tabletop content and memery. You can find me here playing as Finn Reese, Goliath Rune Knight Fighter on Heroes of Histaeria Unearthed Inheritance every other Sunday morning. And then you can find me as the Archivist for Known Realms to Lesh starting on Sunday, October 2nd. Guys, the next session of Unearthed Inheritance will be on Sunday, October 9th. So we're going to see you there. But until then, we'll see you in our next adventure, which just happens to be Known Realms to Lesh. So with that, we will see you guys later. Hold on, because we're going to raid. So stay tuned. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
It's happening.